sure if it was trying to.
Okay.
But it's why? Why? There. We are not.
Why'd you do that?
Brandon, introduce the show since it's your show.
It's my
It's
show.
our show.
It's not
It's
our
our
show.
show. That's right. It's
we are
our
the
show,
show.
but Brandon started it, so I feel like you should introduce it.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Couch Potatoes Movie Club, the show
Potato,
where
potato.
the show where all three of us pick a movie we haven't seen before, and we all three watch it, and we come together and we talk about what we saw. At the end of the episodes, we give 3 potato ratings, 1 potato for each of us, and yeah. So if you have any movies that you want us to watch, leave them down in the comments, and then we'll just get right into it. So
Yeah.
first thing, let's do 1-second summaries. Oh, by the way, this is Jordan and Eddie again.
Hi.
Hi.
I have shorter hair now.
Yeah, for continuity's sake.
Yeah.
So
And Jordan is no longer a black man.
Oh,
Yeah, no longer.
I never was, but okay.
But yeah. So why don't we go and do 1-sentence summaries about the movies we
Okay.
watched?
Should we just each do the one that we picked?
Yeah. So Eddie, you
yeah,
do
sure.
Bad Batch.
All right. Bad Batch was a really just trippy EDM festival, Mad Max movie in the desert. And I really liked it. I thought it was cool. It wasn't like perfect all the time, but for what it was, I thought it was really dope. I thought like it was good. I liked it. You should watch it.
I picked Annihilation with Natalie Portman, and scientist lady goes into a weird
Rift.
cosmic phenomenon.
The shimmer.
Yeah, the shimmer's what they call it, but
like a rift.
some weird stuff starts happening, and she doesn't know how to handle it with her feelings and emotions and the like. So that's Annihilation.
Cool. And then I picked Close, which was very
Fucking
disappointing. Yeah, sucked. Cliche.
You idiot, Brandon.
Sorry. Cliche.
That's why your daughter isn't here. She's just like, oh no, I can't.
Close. Cliche action movie with cliche things and
It's
people who know the right skills at the right time.
I have a really
Yeah, it's
good.
real
I have a
convenient.
really good summary of it that I thought up. It's Girl Taken or Cheap James Bond.
Yes.
Cheap Girl James Bond, or you
Yes.
could go Cheap Girl John Wick, or Cheap Atomic Blonde.
You keep saying cheap, and I keep thinking of The Room.
It's a cheap. it's a really bad. It's a really bad movie in terms of originality. It was kind of cool in the sense of just like if you're like into a dumb action flick. Like my dad would probably really like that movie.
Well, before we get into each, like diving in, we want to give a quick review now.
well,
so
we got all of them. That was
right. No, but we're going to go through and review them now.
Oh, yeah,
so
sure.
that anyone who doesn't want to watch for 40 minutes to an hour doesn't have to get super invested into this video. They can decide from our brief synopsis at the beginning if they like it or not.
Yeah.
So let's start with Bad Batch. What did you give it?
I would give it
Like a potato?
no, not one potato. I forgot.
Wow.
I
We
forgot
each
our.
give one. That's how it
That's
works.
our. Oh,
yeah.
we each give
It's
one
out
potato.
Of 3
yeah,
potatoes.
it's out of 3.
Oh.
It can't be more than Eddie.
But I
come
think
on.
like I thought it was like a personal question of potato. All right, yeah,
No, we're going to get into your
I give it
personal,
one full potato.
Okay.
I want to give it 2 potatoes. I want to give it 5 potatoes, like, and just ignore you guys, but
Just supersede us.
Yeah.
supersede
I mean,
you. But yeah,
well, this is probably going to get to because I'm pretty sure Brandon liked it. I'm not giving it a potato.
okay.
Wow.
You're
I'm
not
not.
even gonna give it half a potato.
I'm not giving it half a potato
Why?
because Cuban
Because Cubans.
Cuban Jason
Wow.
Momoa was way too much for me to ever give half a potato
yeah,
to.
but
And if he
no,
had half a potato, he
there
wouldn't
were
be
a lot
eating
of
people.
redeeming potatoes
We'll
in
get
that
into
movie.
We'll get into that. What do you
All
give
right.
it?
I'm going to give it a half because I didn't like the ending. The ending was
Okay.
kind of disappointing. But I will give it a half because it was really good. There were a lot
Okay.
of good things about it.
For Annihilation, I'm not giving it a potato.
I'm not.
It's an
Potato.
awful potato.
I'll
It's
give it
just
a half for the visuals that I. No, the visuals were not.
No, it wasn't.
There
worth
weren't
half
too
a
many
potato.
great visuals for me to even give it a half, so I'm
Yeah.
giving it none.
That's fair.
Eddie?
I'm gonna give it. See, so here's the thing. I didn't finish watching it again. So instead,
That's okay.
I read the synthesis and.
You mean the
the
synopsis?
synopsis?
That's okay.
What did he say? The symphysis?
Synthesis.
That's fine.
Synthesis?
Synthesis. And it was actually an analysis that somebody had done.
Oh.
Okay.
And so I got this cliff notes about what happens after I stopped watching. But I had already been watching a good chunk of it, so I knew what was going on. and a lot of things that
you didn't miss much.
Yeah. For the most part, I will give this at least half of it. No, I'll give it a full potato. I thought it damn it. I want to give it a full potato because the ideas are cool, but the execution was poor. So maybe I'll give it half a potato.
1 potato on paper, but half potato on execution.
Half potato on execution, yes.
Okay. So Annihilation
so execute that potato.
Annihilation got half a potato
out of 3.
Between half and 1 potato.
It's a potato chip.
Okay, that's okay.
Annihilation got a potato chip out of 3 potatoes.
And
Close got.
We haven't gotten Close yet. So what do you give Close?
Close got no potatoes.
No
for me.
potatoes.
No potatoes for Close.
I can't give it a potato, but my father, Eddie Berto Gonzalez Sr., would probably give it muchos potatoes because I think he'd like it.
It's a no-brainer action movie. You can literally zone out for half the movie and come back and not miss anything.
It's just chilling and watching people punch each other. It was okay.
I
I enjoy some of the scenes.
we're
starting with Close, right?
We're gonna dive into Close.
Well, let's just go straight in.
So let's go. So who wants to?
There were some cool scenes I thought, and you made me suffer through that movie. So
I'm sorry.
So I'm gonna take the lead here and be like.
You think I didn't suffer? It was my pick.
The whole fish scene when she's underwater and she kills this dude with the hook. I thought
That
that was pretty dope.
That was lame.
I
wrote that in here and said that was
Where
trash.
Where did she go? There's all these fish.
Yeah, they're in his way.
Let me pull up my notes.
And the green screen in the water didn't look good either.
I thought it looked okay.
It did not. It didn't look good. It stuck out too much.
I enjoyed a lot of her ass kicking. It was okay. It was like I didn't feel like it was.
It was the Black Widow movie we never got.
Maybe. I don't know. Like I said, Tonk Blonde exists. That's a good movie. That's better than this.
Okay, well.
haven't seen it entirely. I think I started it, but just like this, I kind of got tired of it. So like, this isn't John Wick.
This isn't John Wick.
It's too bad that like when you do a movie right the first time, like Taken, the first Taken, great, and then everybody wants to do that to death, and then it's boring, and that's what happens with this movie. It's done. It's like for some reason it opens with this just cheap James Bond fractal opening and like
I know that.
Oh yeah,
that came in after the title sequence.
Yeah, I was like,
what is
happening?
What does that have to do with anything? It isn't.
It had
like
nothing to do with it.
James Bond opening title sequence where you have like a weird fractally pattern or something,
and then you have like
has something to do with the movie. Like GoldenEye is all in gold.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other ones.
Like
Casino Royale is in like blue
all
and
cards and stuff. World is
around.
Not Enough is all oil stuff. But like this had nothing to do with anything. It was like some song that didn't make any sense. It showed the Star of David for no reason.
Oh yeah, that was weird.
Like, and I
was like, is there some sort of like underlying message that I'm supposed to be getting
Judaism?
from this? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, but it's never explained. But like what bugged me even more was that it showed up after the title came up.
Yeah.
Like the title Close comes up, it goes to an exterior shot, and then it goes into that.
You like have that at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought all that stuff made it seem almost like a parody of an action movie. Which if it had been that, I think that would have been kind of cool.
That would have been funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of cheap.
I had an issue with the characters. So every character in this movie,
I like the blonde girl. She's pretty fun.
I hated her.
She was awful. Every character in
You
this
say
movie,
she was hot?
Yeah.
No, she wasn't.
She actually wasn't that hot.
She was not.
She was the type of hot where you look at that and you go, if I was into girls with daddy issues, yeah, she'd be great. But I'm not, because no one should be.
She was the hottest character in the movie, which isn't saying it something.
Yeah. I don't know. That one of those security guard guys was not bad.
True.
Well, no, but what I was going to say about the characters, though, the problem I had with the characters was they were both like the most emotionally closed off human beings in any movie ever, but also unable to express their emotions to themselves. So like the main chick whose name I'm forgetting, what
Zoe
no,
Sam?
Sam. So Sam like won't, which we'll get into for plot reasons, talk about her daughter. Right, and Zoe keeps trying to get it out of her at the worst times because
at the points where the tensions are the most high.
She's like, I don't talk about that, and then she goes and cries about it for 5 minutes, and then when it gets brought up again, it's like, well, I won't talk about that, and then like something else happens involving the daughter, or just brings up the daughter, and she's like, well, now I have to have a whole nother cry session. It's like pick one. Like, are you gonna be overly emotional about your daughter, or are you gonna like just shut off completely?
And then the reason she has for crying over her daughter is not worth the amount of breakdowns that she has. Like literally, you think I was under the impression that her daughter died.
Yeah.
But then you find out, oh no, I just don't want to talk to her.
Yeah.
Like I gave her up for adoption. She gave her up for adoption in the beginning.
Well, she gave her up for adoption like.
Well, I assume
20
that's what
years
it was.
ago.
Yeah. It was like 20 years ago.
Right, but if she's crying like this 20 years later.
Because she like feels bad, and her daughter's reaching out to her, trying to.
But it's not the first time she's reached out to her. She
She's
points out like, oh, she calls me often.
Yeah.
And it's like,
no, I get that she's struggling
Yeah.
with whether or not she should. I don't know. I get your point. Either be a badass spy or be like this troubled spy.
Right.
But
you could be both, and it would work. Like, there's a way
This
where you could
isn't
do
how
it.
how it works though.
Yeah,
this was a failed attempt at that.
In the beginning,
fair
in the
then,
beginning,
yeah.
when it shows her in her house after the events of the cold opening, that was a good way to show like a troubled hero. Where after the main sequence, she comes home and then she's kind of freaking out, trying to like reduce her stress, smoking, working
She's
out.
running like
That's
a
good.
freaking crazy person on a treadmill.
Exactly, because of the events that she just went through.
Yeah.
But then when you try to pepper in the issue with her daughter throughout without really any setup,
Yeah.
and then you have her break down the exact same way, that doesn't work that well.
I feel like this movie lacked a lot of context for
Yeah.
like
in
the
general,
characters.
the movie like felt unfinished. Like it
Like-
was just a bunch of
For a little bit
pieces to a bigger spy movie.
for a little bit more of a look into the like what the story is for the movie. There's a girl of a non-discriminate age, some kind of millennial.
Yeah,
She's
20s,
dad
early
dies,
20s.
yeah.
early 20s.
Her billionaire dad dies, and instead of giving his oil or
Okay, so this
like
part,
mining
that
company,
part was weird because so clearly he got the rights to the mining company through some merger, right? With
No,
his
it was
wife?
his
it's
company.
his company.
No, because the wife said.
Well, she
"This
said
has
it was-
been in
yeah.
my family's control for generations.
Yeah,
It's her family's company.
yeah.
At some point, they got married and merged their companies, and he took control of her company. And when he died,
Yeah.
he left her fucking company.
Yeah, to
his
to
daughter.
this person's stepdaughter.
Yeah, because the mother isn't her real mother.
The mother's
Yeah,
not her real
no,
mother.
she's not her real mother.
Yeah,
But
her-
then at the same time, was the daughter even really his daughter? Was she adopted?
No, it was
she-
her. It was his.
She makes it clear that like her mom, like, what, she kill herself? Or something?
Yeah, her mom killed herself, and then her dad died. So that's why they say like
okay.
Yeah.
Zoe, who's the blonde
Well, yeah.
chick, she's the one
Point
that's
is,
had to deal with so much.
Oddly, this annoying, but I think attractive, pretty
Not.
blonde girl gets a huge amount of a company that she probably shouldn't have at all.
Like
Because,
all of it.
Why?
Like all of
why
the
do
company.
you get it?
I don't
Yeah.
understand.
There's no
There's
real
no-
It's
reason
a real
for
like
it.
slap in her face. Like, and it also kind of shits on the whole end because like that's a reasonable reason to like have her killed. Like,
Yeah.
if somebody was to be like, oh, I'm a billionaire CEO, all of a sudden this company that has been in my family for generations is just going to be given over
To some 20-something.
who's not even my fucking kid.
Yeah.
Who doesn't really care
Yeah,
about
she
it?
makes it clear from the beginning. The character's established as someone who does not give a shit about
Yeah.
what
Mhm.
happens to his company or the people involved in
And
it.
then in the end, she ends up being like,
Woke.
Woke AF.
oh no, her mom's cool. Her mom's not.
Oh
trying-
yeah,
But, like, out of
That
nowhere.
was stupid. We're gonna get to that. That was dumb.
Yeah,
It was
her-
hella
her
dumb.
mom was
The way
never-
she came around and was like, "Oh, it turns out she's not a piece of."
She's
well,
just
her
getting
mom was never
blackmailed.
actually the one sending assassins after her was the whole point.
Yeah, but her mom was still on the phone with her while she was running from whatever government police.
And then
Yeah,
cut
it's
her
Like,
off.
well, but you made our stocks go down.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
because her dumb ass at that opening point.
But it's confusing.
Very unrealistically is given this like a notion of like, oh, my daughter's crazy. I could see her doing something like this because she's all f***ed up on drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, all we see her doing is f***ing smoking a joint in the corner.
Yeah, that's
pretty
it.
much the
Yeah.
whole thing.
So it's like,
Well,
that's
they
the
mention in
stupidest thing
her
ever.
file
Yeah.
that she reads in the beginning, which has a lot of exposition, which is kind of surprising for
Yeah.
a file that she does
she's
have
a
drug.
junkie?
She has drug
Oh,
abuse,
okay.
but also it says stuff like it says stuff. Where is it? I have it
Some sort
here.
of attention something and
Yeah, like she can't
Yeah,
handle.
like
she
has-
can't handle the amount of wealth and fame that her family's company brought her. I'm like, why is that in her
The
file?
thing is that I don't understand
It's
about
a
that
psychological breakdown.
is like there's no oil company today where I can be like, oh yeah, that's the heiress to
Well,
f***ing Chevron.
we're supposed
You know,
to
like
be-
I don't know who the people are.
Like that's fair, but like I think it's supposed to be one of those.
This is
like,
one of those suspended beliefs where
suspended
this company
belief,
is so
they're rich
huge.
people,
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
This is like Batman's daughter.
Oh lord.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, so she
this
she
is
gets the shares,
this is
right?
Ivanka Trump. If she,
If she wasn't the first daughter.
yeah, if somehow
Yeah.
Trump died and his
Hmm.
daughter's
You would know who
somehow
she
That
is.
would make
Ivanka-
sense. That actually does make
it's
sense.
That, it's that type of scenario.
That clears things up in my brain.
Because
a
that's
little
what
bit.
I got from it. Like, oh yeah, your father was somebody rich and important enough that like
Well,
the
let's not get
media.
carried away.
Well,
Mhm.
you know what I mean.
I'm just-
You know what I mean? The media gave a shit when you
Yeah,
died.
yeah.
And that's why people. It's or like Elon Musk. What if Elon Musk had a daughter with like I don't know, it would have to be somebody who like in a similar way. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But like any like companies like where the founder is extremely known and like has a lot of notoriety. If you find out their kids are doing stuff, yeah, your kids would get press.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So like that kind of aspect makes sense. But one of the main problems that really disappointed about this movie that I want to move on to was that a lot of people that are set up to be bad guys. All of a sudden are no longer bad guys anymore. Like,
well, let's get into.
They were never bad guys. It was a misdirection. It was just not a.
It wasn't a good misdirection though. That's the thing.
Let's get into how that happens. So she gets the shares of the company. They're gonna spend the summer at the stepmom's home
security
country,
base, which
security whatever
that shoots
like
bullets out of the walls.
Do we ever find out what country we're even in?
Oh, I know where we are. At least I'm assuming.
I don't even know because they speak Arabic and then they speak English and then they speak French.
And
they
I know
speak
a lot of Arabic
French.
countries.
That means it's Algeria because we also know that they can get to Spain right across just the road.
True.
So
okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
It has to be close
so
to
so it's some
Morocco.
Algerian.
He's a geography professor.
Morocco,
sort of,
Algeria, somewhere around there.
Okay. So they go to this base and they hire a security woman now because the daughter keeps fucking the men or something.
Yeah.
She
the
keeps
last
all the handsome security dudes.
Yeah, because we see that
she saw
when
it too, bro.
male cop. But we see
I'm a male cop. There's something in my package. You need to open it up and see.
Look at my gun.
Jordan's gonna become a male detective. Like that's an actual job.
It's basically a mailman with a gun.
And he's gonna take down when Jeff Bezos becomes an evil dictator. It's gonna be him who stops him. He's gonna throw a parcel at him.
Oh my gosh! Just like a ninja star.
You're gonna come in like Philip J. Fry on the Planet Express ship.
Oh my god!
Like I am a delivery boy.
I still think it's so cool that you're gonna have a gun.
It's a government agent. It's an actual government agency.
Dude, Jordan's gonna be.
He's testing out for this. We shouldn't ruin it by talking about.
Yeah, I don't. Whatever. Don't say my last name.
He's trying out for close too.
Oh no, I'm not.
His name is Jordan Jaworski.
Oh no, it's not. Jesus
Jordan
Christ.
Belfort.
No.
His name
So okay, let's get back to the film that we're reviewing.
Oh yeah.
But it's not.
So yeah, you see that she's messing around with these male bodyguards because at the funeral, the one that is in charge of her gets a text from his family, and you're like, whoa, what the hell? Like, what's this about? And then you find out, oh, she was sleeping with him. He felt guilty because he left, like he didn't want to be with her. And then the mother requests that she has a female bodyguard.
Yeah.
Because she's sleeping around with all the male ones.
Yeah.
Which she still makes advances on her.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, it's okay, but
it
like
fits her character, but
it broke the one established rule that the stepmom had in hiring her as the
it was also like her attempt. You know what I mean? Like, it was her first move with guys, and it usually worked. So she was like, "Oh, might as well try it with a girl."
I guess that makes sense. Yeah,
it's like a rebellious.
Let's be honest, she looks butch as.
Numi Rapace?
Yeah, I mean,
butch in a sort of very feminine sort of way. You know,
well, I have a hard time agreeing with that. I've always liked women that look really strong. So for me, I didn't see it as a butch look. I saw it as like, oh, that's just a badass woman.
Yeah. And the whole movie, she has cuts and all over her face, which I thought was really cool.
Spy ninja.
We don't actually get. Is that her job? Is she a bodyguard?
She's a professional, mercenary.
She's like in Taken, a nondescript. I'm a bodyguard.
It's like it's a bodyguard / mercenary.
Is that really like what organization?
You go into the military, you get really good, then you come out, and then you become a private contractor.
So private contractor. She's part of a private security
firm. You see it in Punisher.
Okay.
Have you seen Punisher?
No, I have not seen Punisher.
They have pretty much a breakdown of how that works.
Oh, well,
it's actually a real problem
I guess
in
that
America.
context would have helped me in this unrelated movie about something different.
Any spy movie in the 21st century has this annoying context to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty much she works for a private security firm because she's hired through her people, her superiors.
Yeah. Right. So so she goes out to bodyguard this 20-something who just inherited billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Obviously that doesn't work.
Nope.
Because why would it? They go to some compound in Algeria, which is raided, which then we get into the who's a bad guy, who's a good guy.
Oh, and then before we even get to that, she has the ability to hack into the freaking security system of the house.
Oh, yeah.
For no explained
reason.
Well,
millennials just get hacker man powers.
True. Wait, she did that? I don't remember her doing that.
Because it showed her in the living room, and then she looks up at the camera that's aiming at her, and she goes, "Huh, and on her tablet messes around and turns the security cameras off.
Oh, fair.
And then I'm like, why would she be able to do that?
Okay, no, I do remember that. I thought she just had a master control on her tablet.
No, she hacked into it.
Yeah,
because later
she's
she
a hacker,
does it
man,
again
yeah.
where she's hacking into it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay,
Literally, that's like a thing that she just gets
that is
and
kind
no
of
one
For
random.
no
explains.
explained
Yeah.
reason.
Between that and her just fluency in all dialects of Arabic.
She
Yeah.
knows French. That's all she actually knew.
That's
No,
true.
she was speaking Arabic, dude.
No,
I know
yeah,
for
she
sure
did.
she
no,
was.
did
it was
speak
I know
French
for
the
sure
whole
she
time,
was.
but I also got confused because they had thick Arabic accents. So it sounded sometimes like they were going in between. And the subtitles
But why would she
only
have a
ever
thick
say
Arabic accent,
Arabic
though?
instead of saying French.
Mhm.
So it never actually says French when they're actually speaking French, just as Arabic.
It just seems like when they were in the police car and she was listening
They were only
to him
speaking
talking,
French.
it
Yeah, they were
didn't
speaking
sound
French.
They were
but-
speaking French,
Well,
but because they had thick Arab accents, it sounded like they were speaking Arabic.
Okay, well,
I noticed that too. I was kind of annoyed by that because for a second I had that same problem. I was like, how does she speak Arabic? And then I realized, I was like, they're not speaking Arabic, they're speaking French.
okay.
And that's also how I figured out where they were.
I mean,
But
it
yeah.
doesn't make me feel any better that she just also has this mastery of the French language.
I mean, that's more reasonable though.
Why?
Sure.
Because she's white?
It kind of
Yeah.
No,
honestly,
that's
sure.
not how it works.
Not because she's white, but I guess it
How
would make
many
sense
rich
because
white
she-
girls go to France and learn French? Like,
Why would
Well,
she
it's
bother?
decent amount.
It's
Because
not
her
She could
dad's
just
a
bring an
billionaire.
interpreter.
But that's not even what it is. It's just mainly because of where the company is located.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
That would
exactly,
make sense as to
that
why
too.
because she's
But
always there.
she's made it an established character was created. That's rule is I don't care about this company.
But she
so
goes out
why
to
did I
parties.
learn French?
Because she
Well,
goes out and
that's not
parties.
necessarily I care about the company. That's I care about going out and like
Yeah, she goes out and
getting
messes
with
around
French
all the time.
guys. Yeah,
I mean that's fair.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's a lot of concessions for me on this one because I want to fight
Jordan,
this movie.
you-
I want
you
to
wanna
fight
fight
this
it so
movie.
bad.
This movie.
Every movie you watch, you're like this though.
I'm giving zero.
let's
I
just-
know that's not fair.
Let's just move along though, because like Close sucked and we all agreed. So
Yeah,
it
close
doesn't matter.
suck. Garbage suck.
Let's go straight
garbage.
to-
I mean, wait. I do want to mention something I wrote down in my notes real quick. Hold on. Okay. There's one scene near the end after they go through their whole harrowing experience where they're f***ing like, oh, we got to run from this cop who's corrupt and this cop who's corrupt, and they eventually make their way back to the compound, which is the f***ing last place they're in this movie together before it ends,
The
right?
first and last
And
place.
she looks at the f***ing security lady and she says, and I wrote it down,
Oh God. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
friends are supposed to trust each other. She has made it clear this whole movie. They are not friends.
Yeah.
This is a job to Sam.
Exactly.
This is a job. It's a job.
But then she ended up staying with her near the
No,
end.
because she was forced to.
No.
Yes, she was because they show up and then she brings her and they say, "Oh, Sam, you're done. You can go." No, she still has 12 hours. I want her to stay.
Yep.
No,
And
no,
it's
no.
like, if you
I
have the
mean
chance
beyond
for her
that.
to
I
leave-
mean beyond that. So
Because no, there is
after-
the scene where she tells the guy like, "Oh, that she has no one else," and it's like, well, she
Okay.
killed a fucking cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, she has no one
one.
else.
But yeah, exactly what I mean. She could have left her then. She had the go-to. She didn't. That's the whole point. That's
Yeah, but
Yeah.
then
Which
that's
broke
where
the
that's at
established
because honestly,
character.
that's kind of a thing where it's like you would feel guilty though if someone killed
And
her
that's like
and then
a-
you had the
that's
chance.
a moment-
That's not a
when you
that's
have
not a
that
sense
moment of
a con-
empathy though, that leaves this
but it's not a sense
option
of
in the
connection
story
though.
for you to learn and like become friends with them. You're right. It could have
It
been
wa-
done
it-
better
it
to like
wasn't-
develop that
well,
friendship.
not even that. It wasn't that. It was a sense of connection that she all of a sudden had for her. It was more of her guilty conscience. It was more of a selfish thing where she wouldn't be able to live with herself. It
Yeah.
wasn't really necessarily about her.
Is it selfish to be like, well, I won't be able to live with the guilt if I let this person die?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's kind of a like higher calling at that point.
That's true.
all right. Well, let's just get done with this.
But
shitty
still,
movie.
they weren't
I-
friends.
That's
I didn't
a
like this
crappy
movie.
movie.
They
Let's
weren't
just
friends.
Not watch,
They weren't
don't
friends.
watch
At
it.
She
no
said-
point should
yeah.
she have ever assumed
Unless
they
you're
were
a
friends.
62-year-old Hispanic man who likes watching TV all day, don't watch this movie.
It really was a bad movie.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah,
was an
no.
awful movie.
But now let's move to a really good movie, The Bad Batch.
All right.
yeah, all right.
I like this movie.
I
It
love
was a
this
movie.
movie.
I can sense
All right,
Jordan's fake
I-
enthusiasm.
So when I was watching this movie,
This was your pick, right?
yeah, this
Yeah,
was my
okay.
pick. There were a lot of cool things that
Mhm.
I noticed and that interest me. Right off the bat, it's a Western. I don't know if any of you guys picked that up. There's like a
No,
whole,
that makes sense.
There's a
Yeah.
whole montage scene where it's clearly a Western.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are no horses, so they use everything else that
They had the
can
golf
use.
carts and the
Yeah.
motorcycles.
And those
the-
pretty
the-
much
yeah.
work like horses.
It's as basic as a skateboard.
And when you look
Yeah.
at it through that lens, like the story makes a lot of sense. So if you had any problems, I think just kind of think
Nope,
about
that doesn't
there now.
solve it for
It
me.
solves a lot of them.
you can't fix
And here's
Jordan's
actually-
I
problems
don't
with the
remember
movies.
people
here's-
eating people in other westerns that
Okay.
I've seen.
See, okay, now you're
That's
wrong
good,
about
though.
that. You're f***ing wrong about
Yeah,
that, though.
hey, you're kind of wrong about that
Yeah.
one.
Okay, so these are some interesting parallels I made, and I'm just gonna bring them up real fast. Some of them only work to like a certain degree, and then they stop like being realistic. But I think they still stick, especially if this is supposed to be a Western, which clearly seems like it is.
No, it makes sense. I'm not arguing that.
So Jason Momoa's character and all of those people, they're the Indians.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's why they eat people. Like, from our perspective, that seems like a racist way of
It is a racist way.
But that's how they were portrayed.
But
in
But
the
that's how they were
movie.
portrayed in the movie, right?
And that's the point. The point
Yeah.
is to be really absurd with this idea of the other, which is the people from the bridge.
Okay.
And the people from the dream are, you know, the settlers, you know,
Okay.
the people. And that's why we have that creepy father figure, like fucking Mormon pastor, Keanu Reeves.
with all these pregnant women
Oh,
walking
that
around.
was so
Which got
unsettling.
no real explanation.
It was
So
weird.
you were all about how the horse cocks unsettled you and started bothering me. Those pregnant women unsettled me. That
Really?
was so creepy.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Six
it
or
didn't,
seven
it didn't bother me as
teenage
much.
girls
But
with huge bellies.
No,
like that.
I saw it and I was like, okay, clearly he's some
That's-
kind of
that's
sicko.
creepy. Like,
yeah,
I can believe
and
that
they're
a guy
just walking
can maybe,
around like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, I have the
I
dream.
I could totally see
Well,
like
they're wearing shirts that say the dream is inside
yeah, that's
me.
even creepier.
Because
so many
because
layers of
Keanu
it.
Reeves' character in this movie is called the Dream.
Yeah.
So
He's
the
like
whole
a
movie you hear like, oh,
creepy-
the dream, and then you find out that the dream is Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
He's kind of like a creepier version of like the governor from Walking Dead. You know, he's a
Yeah.
Yeah.
a kind of a Texan-y,
Yeah.
twangy Southern guy
Very charismatic.
who like loves drugs and
Somehow
LSD.
has a f***ing drug pipeline into this f***ing prison.
I can believe
world.
that if it's
Yeah.
a prison,
Well, but where would it be coming from?
just a drone
A drone.
just flies over, drops it off. I assume they grow and make a
simple,
lot of
eh?
I
this
can't
stuff.
believe that was so easy for you to be
I
like,
know.
obviously,
A
it's
drone.
a
Ours
You've
are-
never seen how they get drugs into America?
Well, build that wall, I guess. I don't.
No, that wouldn't work because the drone, man. The drone.
fly 1,000 feet.
Just
But,
that little drone,
Well,
man.
but it's not FAA regulated. I mean, how is it supposed? I'm kidding. It's just,
That's the point.
So one thing that I really loved about it though is that you really get a sense of what this movie is going to be about.
Oh, actually,
just
wait.
within,
We've
like,
kind of got ahead of ourselves. Just
I'm kind of starting at the
we
beginning.
haven't
that's
even
why.
talked about where we are. So we're in a maximum security prison, which I believe
It's not a prison. It's literally just like an empty area.
No,
there's
it's a
fence,
prison.
and they have an
Oh, it's an actual
area like
prison?
it's
fenced
supposed
off.
to be a prison, but
That's- yeah.
it's a fenced off prison / chunk of America that no longer counts. As
Yeah.
America.
I thought it was. I literally thought they sent them to a certain area in Mexico.
No,
That's
no,
what I
it
thought.
says
'Cause
you
I-
are no longer in Texas.
It's
they
like
took a chunk of
Texas
and
yeah,
just
stop
were
I
like-
took, I took that as in
Bam,
like
prison.
this is like
Yeah.
the border of
No,
Texas. Like,
and
no,
honestly,
this is not
I
the
was,
lawless land of Mexico.
I
This is
think
in America.
this could be
Okay.
possibly even somewhere coastal because you see a lot of oddly like beachfront things, but it's like super bone dry.
Yeah.
So where did all these
so like
things
things that
come
used to
from?
be like an oasis.
So I think a nuclear war broke out because we do see a whole bunch of like, you know, this is nuclear stuff,
Yeah.
and like it dried up whatever oceanfront there might have been there, and now it's just a huge inland like desert where
Yeah.
maybe there once was a sea or something like that. The point is, this is far into the, or not far in the future, but in a not so distant post-apocalyptic future.
Yeah, kind of.
It even references that this isn't the USA, this is the USSR. No, USCR,
Something like
the
that.
USSR.
It's no, it's like US.
Welcome to Russia.
It's US and then it's like CRS or something like that.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch
It's
of
It's
supposed
like
to stand,
new legislation or a new
Yeah.
government.
yeah,
is
it's
taking
supposed
over.
to stand. I think in my mind I thought about it, and like the only thing that made sense to me was like the United States Revolutionary Confederate.
It could be. It could be
Something like
something
that.
along the lines of.
Confederation, something like that.
It could also have something to do with Canada. Like
Yeah,
they could have
it could
joined
be.
into one.
Yeah, like for all we know, like some nuclear
The
war.
US-Canadian regime.
Yeah.
You don't
There
get
might
you
be
don't
a
get
little-
an explanation, but I mean you don't
It
need
doesn't
it.
really.
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
really important to the story.
Yeah.
Point is, society is like all fucking weird now because people get thrown into the Bad Batch if they don't fit in, and like that ranges from criminals to apparently just weirdos and
Or
like,
just people who are insane.
yeah, or just people who are
Yeah,
insane.
because throughout you start seeing more of
Yeah.
the people that are in it, and you see like people who you can guess are maybe just criminals. You see people who are maybe
Yeah.
like just insane, and then
Yeah.
you have cases like Jason Momoa's character who is an illegal immigrant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and him and his
I
daughter
wonder how
got
much
sent.
of that is true because like he doesn't seem like he would lie about it. The character.
No, I think the character was telling the
Yeah,
truth.
he was
telling the
He
truth.
has nothing to hide.
But
like,
then at the same time, like you're so good at killing though and eating people. Like you'd have to have gotten a crash course in Mad Max.
Yeah, but then again, you don't know how long he's been in.
Right.
You don't
We
know
don't
how
get
long
that. We
he's
don't
been
get
in
that
Bad
context.
Batch, and you don't know
yeah,
how
he
long
might
Bad
have
Batch has been
gotten
going on.
to Miami. Well, we know he got to Miami and he lived there long enough to do like construction.
yeah, he did
Yeah.
different jobs.
all that stuff, and get Miami Man and have a kid.
Yeah.
He lived there long enough to have
Also,
a life before Bad
His
Batch started.
kid and that person I thought was his wife, that's not the wife's mom because like she's like way darker than that kid.
Yeah, no.
Well, she's black. Yeah.
So that kid is okay. So that kind of makes it a little more okay when
When she dies.
When she dies, and then just so like, well, now you're my mommy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because she doesn't have
That
a
was
mother
so
figure.
Cold. That lady was all like,
Hey, she
stay
had
behind me.
She had it coming though. Like straight
Yeah,
up. That lady
being an asshole and being like.
So our main character in the first 5 minutes of the movie gets her arm cut off and her leg cut off
and
eaten in front of her.
As soon as she's thrown into the Bad Batch, she's captured by cannibals who live in the bridge. And like I said, they're the Native Americans in this story.
Yeah.
And she gets, she like, it's just your basic, the Native Americans catch a white girl, they scalp her, but, it's not that.
Mm-hmm.
They eat her.
They're literally eating her arm
they
and
eat
leg.
people, which I was, like, curious about this because I was like, it seemed like later on somebody was trying to rape her, that dude with the chains. Later on, we'll get to that later on in the movie.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But the cannibals definitely didn't do that. But at the same time, I'm
Well, 'cause
like,
they
why
were
would
women.
the cannibals, like, there's, like, I understand you're a cannibal, but, like, there's a reasonabler way of eating meat. And also, like throughout history, when it's come to, like, capturing people, usually you don't eat. If you were to eat somebody, you wouldn't eat a woman because, like, making more people is more important for a society.
Right, but I don't think
But
they're
then
trying
again, they're
to
not
forge a
caring about that,
society.
though.
That's fair. They're just trying to
They're just
survive.
survival.
Yeah.
But all right,
survival,
and then beyond that, you don't have to keep people alive and like slowly cut away chunks. You could just kill them and
then
save that meat.
Well, if they have fridges and stuff.
But like you could even in the desert, you just dig a really deep hole and that's frozen.
That's good to know.
Make like
We'll write that down.
Indians would like bury their like meat deep in like pits. That's how you make ice pits back in the day.
But then again, you see though that a lot of people get sent to the Bad Batch to where you don't have to worry about having to preserve stuff. Like there's going to be like a shortage.
Clearly,
maybe it has something to do with.
It's also
with
some bullshit because like why are the cannibals even cannibals if like the Dream has food to a certain degree?
Because they don't want to be with him.
No, I get not wanting to be with him, but like. Oh, revolt then. Like he might even have the guns, but like you still have the numbers and the strength. Like why not?
Yeah, which bothered me. It made me uncomfortable to see how jacked some of the guys at the bridge were, considering all they're eating are people.
They're only eating meat.
Protein, bro.
Protein, bro.
But they're like
Do you even lift?
Yeah, realistic.
ripped.
Yeah, no one can eat
they're
just
hella
meat.
ripped.
That's what I'm
and,
saying. Like
get
no,
that big.
it's impossible.
Yeah.
You need to eat like carbs just to
You
have
need,
the
like,
strength and
fiber.
like tie.
Yeah.
No.
Also, they would all die of scurvy at some point if they're not
Well,
getting fruits
and you know how
vegetables.
much lactic acid you'd be consuming? Because human meat
Oh, yeah,
is like
'cause
really
there's-
bad. It gives you the shakes. I've heard.
Really?
That's
didn't know
I
that.
mean, I feel like I was reading something about the Donner Pass people, the ones who got stuck and were eating each other.
Oh, yeah.
And they were saying that when you eat enough people, you start shaking because there's so much acid in a human. Because we're not efficient as animals. We're just not. What do you?
I think you eat people.
I don't eat
That's how you
people.
know.
I don't need to.
Oh.
Because he's not efficient either.
I'm not efficient. Why would I eat people? I can get
You
a
would just
dollar
die
cheeseburger
more.
at McDonald's. Like,
But
what do I
Bad
need to
Batch.
kill?
I
and
eat
put
on
the
a
effort
budget.
out? Yeah. Well,
But
if it was cheap, we'd talk about it.
you
but
can't be a cannibal only. But
no,
Yeah.
you couldn't.
again,
But like
again
they had
though.
other like there were rabbits and
Yeah, there were all this
Yeah.
game that clearly they could have
Yeah.
hunted. So there's no reason for them
yeah.
to be cannibals.
it was almost like a power thing.
Yeah, it's definitely supposed to be representation of like Native Americans versus the other people. But there's also this question of like the other in sense of livestock because they treat her like livestock.
Yeah, they do.
yeah.
Yeah,
We
they
see
do.
that whole scene of them. There's that. So she like gets like after they cut off her arm and leg, they keep her in a chain. We see other like livestock people with like arms and legs cut off. They're all just like surviving. Which again, why you don't chop people's body parts off because that's inefficient. Because now that chunk that you like maybe seared to keep from like bleeding out, that's gonna rot.
Yeah.
So that's like a whole chunk of meat that's gone bad. That's why you kill the whole
But
thing.
it's maybe not. Maybe at the joints you can't get a lot out of it anyway.
Yeah.
So-
No, I get that, but it's just like there's
It
all
really
these
seemed-
reasons why it's not a good idea to just
It really
eat
seemed
meat
like they
that.
had an actress who was missing an arm or maybe an arm and a
No,
leg. And they were
she
like,
was a real. She had arms and legs at the beginning.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, yeah, but I don't know if that was like done.
I'm pretty sure
No,
she
it was
had
real.
both arms and legs, and she
Yeah.
they used green
That's
screen.
The green.
Standing.
Yeah, it was a green screen
Yeah.
like glove on her right arm and a green screen leg.
Well, they didn't do the green screen leg because it looked like it was just a leg.
yeah,
And
sometimes
they
yeah,
just
that's
added
true.
a limp and it looked fine.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that to like say like it wasn't good enough. Like
It was
the
good.
way it was done.
Yeah, it was a simple effect,
It
but
was
it looked really
realistic.
Right.
realistic.
It was
yeah.
almost
Because
like
just-
a token to the fact that you don't need
Yeah.
to do CGI for everything.
Yeah,
You can
which is really
you can
good.
like make a prosthetic leg around a leg and it looks It looks.
Yeah.
There were a
No.
lot more practical effects in this movie, which
Yeah.
I really liked. I will always pick practical effects over CGI anytime.
But
Mm-hmm.
okay, so after she's been like turned into just like a livestock, and she's just like sitting there, like we have a scene of her in a little like
Which is
pan.
crazy.
It was gross, yeah. And then the next thing we know, she's like covered in her own.
Well, so they
Because-
won't eat her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was a clever. It
Yeah.
was a clever ruse.
Very
And
survivalistic.
Yeah.
and so like as she's being washed by this like gross, not buff at all.
No.
Really?
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're just fat.
Yeah, a couple of people were just fat, and I was like, why do you accept these
Yeah,
fat
That's what I'm
people?
saying. Like,
Yeah.
the society doesn't make sense because you got all these ripped dudes that are like, I'm gonna hunt.
They're
and
not
eat
even the warriors of society because we
this
never see
skinny
them do
lady."
anything.
Yeah, they just work out. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's
Yeah.
all
We're
they
gonna
do.
eat this skinny asshole, but we're not gonna like kill the dude who's got more meat on him than anyone
Yeah,
I've ever
this
seen.
fat like ugly
Yeah.
person who's not
Yeah.
benefiting us in any
Right.
way.
I'm like,
Doesn't
what
benefit
F?
the
I
story.
was like, maybe they're slaves, but then I was like, well, it kind of seems like a couple of them that they left legs or arms on are slaves. Like,
What would you do with a one-armed, one-legged slave?
just give them something to do. I don't know, man. It's a slave.
They don't have like a. It doesn't matter. I don't-
And
I mean,
I
you're
don't care.
you use a cow to plow a field, man. You can use.
you can't plow a field with one leg.
have you
You
tried?
just need your arms and pull.
I haven't tried. I have not tried.
Well, one thing I want to touch on too, like it's just like a little note, but like not all the people that they were using as livestock and feeding off of were women. Like you see,
Yeah,
like,
some-
you
no,
see,
yeah, it
you
was
see
dudes,
other
yeah.
chains
It was
of
lots
of
people
dudes,
that are men.
actually.
It did
like-
not seem like a sexist society in
No.
any
No.
way.
There's like a woman who was just as buff as a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's actually a famous bodybuilder, I think, and she's like been in movies where she
Mhm.
like. She might even be a man who might be trans, but I could be wrong about that.
Well, there is a trans bodybuilder that has their own like documentary on Netflix right now. It might have
And
been.
that might
it might
be-
have been.
It might have been
Them.
the same person, but I could be wrong.
Anyway, but
Lots
like,
of bodybuilders though,
but
like actual bodybuilders, like you might be able to recognize some of them from like TV and movies if you've seen them before.
But like one thing that I really like too, like the cinematography was really good. Like the
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
the
visually
framing,
it was great.
The framing was so good. The depth of the shots was really
Well,
good.
that goes back to it being like a western. So
yeah,
westerns, the early ones came about during like I want to say like the 60s, 50s, 40s, maybe even, probably even earlier than that. But they were big
they
and
really
wide
took on like the
landscape.
60s and 50s.
Yeah, but they were big and wide in landscape. That's like how they liked
Yeah.
shooting it, because like you're shooting in the Midwest and stuff, and it's like just big open fields.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they used for a lot of these shots. And like I pointed out that montage you get where she's looking for Jason Momoa's character after he's been shot.
Yeah.
And that's just like a classic not Native American. That's just a classic like Western trope of like the lone cowboy walking out into the desert trying to find,
Mhm.
whatever he's looking for, and just like it was just great. It reminded me of Django. A couple of scenes were like, oh yeah, this like that beat, that tone, that song. Yeah.
There were moments where I really thought that it would probably been a better movie if Jason Momoa was the main character instead of the main
Yeah.
girl. Just
No,
because he had more of a story.
Oh, I
than
wrote.
she did.
I
She
wrote
was just
down.
there.
No, I thought
But
she had
it
a
wor-
story.
But that's
I
the thing,
wrote down
it
that
wor-
there's
it-
no motivation for anyone. I
Yeah.
don't know why anyone's
No,
doing
Jason
anything.
Momoa's got motivation.
He's
He
the
don't
only
get
one
his
because
kid.
he's looking for the kid.
Yeah.
But before that, I don't know what the.
He's
he's
just
doing.
trying to live.
He's just a guy.
He's
Yeah.
just living his
And
life.
she shows up. We don't find out why.
Well, you know what? Actually, I think I know why certain aspects of these movie happen the way that it does. So Jason Momoa is technically in his own version of the dream. That's why the bridge and the dream are two opposites to one another.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And he's just chilling, being, a cannibal, and he's cool with that. That's why we see that first opening scene of him just strutting, on Cannibal Beach, lifting weights with everybody.
Yeah.
Um,
Cannibal.
but then later on, when we see him like having to prep a meal, he can't bring himself to like horribly torture somebody and cut off just chunk by chunk slowly. So he goes and he does
does it all
the
at
more
once. He does it all at
merciful
once,
thing,
yeah.
and he just breaks her neck
Yeah.
and he butchers her and like he
And, like,
cooks it all at
fillets her
once,
completely.
which you
Yeah.
don't need to cook all that meat at once. You could have
Yeah,
saved it.
it's-
Jason
Which was a
Momoa.
good
So
moment though too,
inefficient.
because like it kind of showed what kind of character he
Like
was.
they
like,
have
right
a
off the
lot of
bat.
crap that like has been thrown there. Like you're telling me there is not a single refrigerator that you
Well,
guys
that's
could
not-
I'm
have
not saying
rigged
that.
up.
I'm not saying that. It didn't seem like they had a bunch.
No, I don't mean you're not saying that. I mean them. That like you're telling me you guys couldn't find a single refrigerator.
Oh, yeah.
Out in that vast.
You have one printer copier that
Oh,
works
yeah,
when you,
oh,
when you
that
need
was printer
particular
copiers.
wires.
That works. That has
Yeah,
toner
it
and
has
and-
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
no.
can make like hundreds of copies that
I
you
thought that
need.
was
I hated
hilarious.
that.
Well, again, that is also the dream. So maybe they're more.
She didn't live there though. She didn't live.
No. That was
the
at
dream.
Comfort.
That was at Comfort.
That was at
Comfort.
The dream lives at Comfort. So it's the
Yeah.
Well, he has his own.
Oh yeah,
thing
sorry,
off-
I
off of
got
Comfort.
confused. The dream isn't the name of the town. Comfort
Comfort's
is the name of the town.
Comfort's
Dream
name
is
of
the
town.
guy.
Dream
And
is
Comfort is
Keanu
such a
Reeves.
classic Western
No, it
town
is, it
name.
is.
Yeah.
Comfort,
No,
the
but you
small
saying it's a-
town of Comfort.
You saying it's a Western makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I just
No, I just I keep bringing it up just because I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, there's so many of these
I
like things.
genuinely just didn't dig her as a character because I was like, your motivation is just like,
She's just
nothing.
Her
the
motivation
meandering
didn't have as much
cowboy.
weight
and then
as
you
Jason
find out at
Momoa's
the end
did.
that she's just like, I want to have purpose, and I was like, so you came to like a maximum security.
Well, she didn't
exile
come here.
prison?
She was thrown in here.
Why?
We don't know, but we're given the assumption that like she wishes she could go back and change something, so we can assume
Yeah.
it was something she regrets.
Yeah,
But I think the
probably.
point of it
Yeah.
too also is that it doesn't really matter what the reason is. It's
Yeah,
like,
like,
if you're
It
seen,
super matters what the reason is.
No,
it-
'cause even-
because the way it is, that if you're just seen as an outcast,
Yeah,
you
if you're
get
just
sent to Bad
different,
Batch. It
like-
doesn't matter what you did, because some people
Jason
aren't even
Momoa's
criminals.
character is just illegal. Like
Yeah.
he seemed
That's it.
like he was even a functioning, like helpful member of society.
He
like,
was.
He just worked,
And he still got
regular
sent
normal
out.
jobs.
So
And
you
you
could literally be like an average Joe, but
Yeah.
if this society deems you as an outcast, even though let's say the reason isn't a good reason, that's the point that I maybe.
And
like,
there's even this
no
kind of
reason
lesson
why.
to it because like Jason Momoa's character is the savage. You know, he's
Yeah.
the Native American. Like I said, he's got
Yeah.
the long. He even has a long ponytail too. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's dope. He's like
Miami
straight
man.
He's got the worst.
I
Cuban
love
accent
that.
I've
I
ever
love
heard.
that Miami man
Yeah,
tattoo.
that
That
was
was
awful.
dope.
Apparently, that's his character's name too.
It's literally
Yes,
in
it
the
is.
subtitles. It
Yes.
says Miami
His
man.
name is
Yeah.
Miami
It's
man.
ridiculous.
I love that
It's
though.
Unbelievable.
It fits in though with what you're saying about being a Western because it kind of sounds
Yeah,
like
Miami
a
man.
name
It
you would
does.
have.
Yeah.
It does.
So
Old Jim from Miami.
Damn it.
Old Miami man.
I just can't. I can't. Get
And the
behind-
bridge people, you know, you get the concept. But yeah, so
it sounds like
he's the Native American and he's the savage, but we see him being the most civilized when
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
painting that beautiful picture of his daughter, and we see
Yeah.
his art skills.
His art is
Which
outstanding.
Man, you told me you couldn't get a job as an artist. You had to do construction. You're really
Well,
good.
he said he did tattoos.
Oh,
Yeah, he
that's
was
true.
a
He did do
tattoo artist.
tattoos. That makes
Tattoos.
sense. That
he
makes
said he
sense.
did tattoo and then he went and did construction.
Yeah.
Man.
So it could be that he probably went to go do
Yeah, he was-
construction when he had his daughter.
He was a really good artist in this movie. Like that
Really
character
good.
was sweet.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty dope, like how he just like pulled it out. But then at the same time, like and then we see the like pretend civilized man, the
Keanu
Dream,
Reeves.
Yeah.
Yeah, the John.
who's just like this creepy
Leader type.
cult leader
so
piece of shit. Yeah,
He's
It's
super
so
weird.
weird.
He's super weird. And his explanation too for like why his society is so great was really weird when he's comparing humans to cows and pigs.
yeah, but he's
He's specifically saying like we don't stand in our shit, and that's why
we're not cows and pigs,
yeah.
but we're a field. We're like a garden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's just
I
comparing.
thought it was funny though because he made it super clear like we don't stand in our shit, and that's why we're better. And the way she escaped was
through
by
her
covering herself in her own.
Oh,
shit.
yeah,
I thought
earlier.
it was funny.
That's
I thought it was
earlier.
funny.
Yeah, that was funny.
But I do like though that he kind of
But-
had this like he did have this high ego too because he's
Well,
obviously the reason why he's in the
he
place
clearly
is 'cause
saw
built
himself
the,
as God. That's
he-
why he
yeah.
keeps
Yeah.
talking about himself as the Dream.
but like he built like the plumbing that is in Comfort
Yeah.
that they
Yeah.
have. He's like, yeah, I built that, and it's
Yeah.
like, good job.
Cool.
Like,
Yeah.
you still can't make it look better. Like, like
I mean,
awesome.
hey, you can take a and it goes away.
That's true.
That's a lot. That's comfort.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
comfort.
yeah,
But yeah, his creepy like classic Western bad guy who's like, I'm pretty sure they were drawing inspiration from like that classic bad guy trope of Mormon missionary who's like super tyrannical and
Yeah.
zealous.
Yeah.
And he's got like 6 daughters that he's impregnated and
Oh God.
all that stuff. It seemed like that's what they were
No,
going
it was
for.
it was a creepy vibe that they were trying to create for sure.
And his drug dealing thing was pretty cool too. That was classic Western trope too. Of like, they don't really have drugs in Westerns, but like it's kind of alluded to sometimes.
yeah, because
He's
you'll get
kinda like-
scenes where like they're doing opium and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, there's a whole rave scene. I wrote down in my notes that the drug scene really didn't do it for me.
You didn't like
It was.
It's not that I
good,
didn't
it
like
went on
it.
too long.
It was on too long, and I was like, what are we getting to? What vision quest are we supposed to be
Yeah.
having right now? Because I didn't see her.
It's
It was-
one of
I
those.
think it
it's
was
just
just
plot
supposed to
writing
lead
get
her
her
to
Jason
Jason Momoa.
so
Right.
that the actual
I
plot can
guess.
start.
I mean,
But
she
it's
could have been
just- it
out looking
wasn't
for that
good.
little girl and done that. Why
She
did
was
she
too
have
high.
to? Yeah, why did she have
Yeah.
to be tripping? And even when she
Well,
runs
she had
into
to
him,
lose the. She had to lose the girl for plot reasons.
well,
You
no,
know-
for sure she had to lose the girl for plot reasons. That rabbit
An
was
an
a
aspect
plot
of this
rabbit.
movie
Yeah.
that I kept thinking about, and I knew you'd bring up, she is a piece of shit as a person because
Yeah.
she never admits that she killed Jason Momoa's girlfriend from before.
Yeah,
Well, he
and-
doesn't ask.
Yeah, but she doesn't even go out and say like, "Oh,
Yeah,
I killed the person who was with
I'm
this
the
little
reason
girl."
your f***ing daughter is
Or
here
when
in
you're
this
trying to
creepy
survive,
rape
though,
guy.
you don't wanna.
Like
you
know
ain't
they
gonna
went
do
home
that.
after the credits rolled, and he was like, "Hey, so how'd you end up with her anyway?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, I."
Or they,
that.
I thought they built like their own little home.
They
somewhere
might
there
have
in
somewhere.
That,
I don't know. We don't find out.
I don't think they were together though. I think.
No,
like,
yeah, at the end.
She was super trying to bone Jason.
at the
Momoa.
end. There's
no,
this
I'm
whole
talking about
scene.
the black girl that she killed.
Well, they were for sure a family unit. I don't know
Yeah.
if they were like a romantic family unit,
Oh,
but she
yeah,
was
true.
definitely
I
the
think
maternal
she at least.
character.
Yeah, I think they at least were like maybe that was his like
His partner,
his part. Yeah, like he
his
probably
partner in crime is
probably had sex with her. Is
Because
what
if
I'm
you notice-
assuming, but I don't think he loved
I feel
her
bad
in
for
that
him, though.
world.
If you notice,
Yeah, she's
the,
not that attractive.
Yeah,
the,
no,
the,
not at
the
all.
lady or the people who caught the main character at the beginning, it was a pair of them. They were on their in their
Oh,
golf
yeah,
cart.
that's true.
So
Yeah.
Two
maybe this
guys.
society just exists in pairs, not in like a we're dating thing, but in like a we watch each other's back kind of way.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be that. I don't
He
know.
could be like a provider.
That would
in the-
explain
in the
why
meat sense,
one of
and
the-
she goes and scavenges for.
Explain why when he kills the black dude with the chains, why later on another dude appears to like get revenge and shoot him.
Yeah,
He like
that
kinda
scene was
just-
kind of dope.
Yeah, he just appeared out of nowhere and he shot him.
yeah.
So that would make sense. He was looking for him.
Yeah.
But and it's
Um,
cool because like in moments like this where that would happen, you kind of be like, oh, well, he's just comes out of nowhere. But it's like no, in westerns,
Yeah.
people tend to just come out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, because everybody can be tracking you
Yeah,
and you
because
wouldn't
you're
even
tracking
know.
Yeah.
or you're just traveling. You're just wandering and traveling, which would make sense in Bad Batch
But-
where
but
there's not really
you
there's only
can't-
2 places to go.
You can't fast travel when enemies are nearby.
I'm pretty sure
Stop.
they're supposed to be. I'm pretty sure we're supposed to get the assumption that Bad Batch is much bigger even,
Oh, for sure.
but we
Oh,
don't.
yeah.
Literally, we don't even touch the surface of
Yeah,
how,
like
how
this
far
is
this.
probably the closest two
They're-
towns
they're
from where
like-
she got dropped off.
Right, they're
Yeah.
like 2 miles from the gate. and
Yeah,
it
exactly.
Probably goes for another 50
Because the only
miles
signs you
easily.
see are like the first ones that you see which say, oh, this way to Comfort.
Yeah, because
And-
she
Yeah.
like if there weren't those towns, she would have died because
Yeah.
like she almost dies as it is.
Yeah,
And then where did we leave off?
we were on the drug trip.
Oh yeah.
But no, I was gonna say something before then, and I totally forgot because Brandon started talking.
Wow.
And Brandon.
Wow,
It
But,
was
who
something
Who
on.
talks on a video podcast.
I know, right?
It was something on on the Native American aspect of
Vision
Jason
Quest?
Momoa's character,
Oh,
not the
never
Vision
mind.
Quest. Well, yeah, you could say that she went on a Vision Quest because, and that's
Yeah.
why she was all tripping out.
Yeah.
That's why she bumps into
And
Momoa's
isn't
character.
that when she finds out like, oh, I want like she finds out
Yeah.
what she wants to do?
and now
No, that's later.
I kind of
with the dream,
wonder
I think.
if Jason Momoa's Cuban accent even isn't as well also trying to reference this idea of like the thick accented like person.
like a call to the racist
Yeah.
accents that old westerns would
Yeah,
use.
because
Yeah,
like
like where
could be.
we're like
That
the-
Cuban
the-
accent was atrocious.
because I can't believe Jason Momoa that was his best.
I know.
idea.
I know.
Yeah.
I feel like Jason Momoa would have tried. He did Khal Drogo
No,
well.
he nailed
Yeah. So
a
why-
made-up accent, but he couldn't do Cuban.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like he knows how to speak Spanish. Like
Yeah.
he probably does.
I don't think so. I think
He's like
Eastern-
bilingual,
he's
dude.
Eastern
I've seen him
Islander.
in
I
some
heard
stuff.
that
Well,
they,
he's
they
Eastern
can,
Islander, that's
I heard
why.
that he and Amelia Clark can still do Dothraki
Yeah,
on
they
the
can.
like behind the scenes of Game of Thrones. I heard they learned
They
enough
do
to be
it-
able to like have
They do it
conversations.
sometimes
Oh, wow.
on
Yeah.
Comic Cons. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
When you learn well, that's like
When
the
you,
pe- that's
I
like
mean,
the
it's
people
like
who learn
Klingon.
Klingon.
Yeah, it's not that crazy, especially for the 2 people who
Oh
spoke
yeah,
it
it's
the
super
most.
simplistic
Yeah.
syntaxes and stuff. So
Yeah,
it's easy
I
to
bet you the
figure out.
grammar for Dothraki is nothing.
Yeah.
It's probably just like noun, verb.
I'm
go.
horse. This is
Yeah.
you here. But
Well, yeah.
but one thing I really want to touch on too was that
He also kind of reminded me of
um,
like a Cuban Khal Drogo.
Oh God.
But one thing I really love that really stuck out about this movie was the sound engineering in this movie. The way everything sound. There wasn't really that much music, and you go 30 minutes into the movie until you get your first conversation. Like
It was
I
quite a
Oh,
while
yeah.
before
was
anyone was
so-
talking.
It
Yeah.
was very
Good.
well, like again, Western.
Yeah.
It was that
Well, but
slow
even then,
burning.
even westerns have more
No,
conversations
no,
than this
there
movie.
is some like I think. Sorry, man. I know too much about westerns. My dad's a Mexican.
I used to watch westerns with my grandpa.
I
so-
hate westerns.
You hate everything.
I
There
hate
are-
lots of things.
There are 2 kinds of westerns.
Yeah.
There are the classic westerns, which are big and grandiose, and then there are the spaghetti westerns.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they're also drawing on, because we clearly see a lot of. We don't get any fast pull guns, but we do get some clever like villainous kills. Regular classic western, you usually kill somebody fair and square.
Yeah.
Old fashioned crappy fight where the guy goes like, ugh.
Like what?
Like, where the guy, you never seen any movie with
No, I just wanted to see you do it again.
Have you ever seen like what's his name? The Duke. Can't remember what his real name.
I think so. I think it rings a bell. But anyway.
God damn it. He was a famous John Wayne. Yeah, any movie with John Wayne, he can't fight for shit.
Nope.
And they would just every punch like
Yeah.
But yeah, and then spaghetti westerns, they're clever, thinner guys who like beat the shit out of you with tacticians.
They're like more grounded
It's
in like
strength based versus dex based.
Yeah, and so like that's exactly what Jason Momoa does. He's like, "Oh, I'm not going to just go into this fight." He gives her
he
gives
uses
her the
her
girl,
as like kind of like a
the
distraction.
bad guy turns around thinking, "Oh, I've got what I wanted." About to walk away. Jason Momoa throws his knives at him.
Yeah.
Killing him.
Which is supposed to like kind of like resemble like a tomahawk. Kind of thing.
Yeah. Also, his knife was definitely supposed to be like a tomahawk, and I thought that was dope. And honestly, a tomahawk would have been better than that stupid cleaver.
Like,
but whatever.
Now that you say that, like there are so many things now that I remember.
Oh
that
yeah,
like,
there are tons
this
of
is definitely a western.
There are tons of western. There's also like weirder other things. So like earlier, I told you guys that the crazy guy in the city is like a reference to
Giovanni
Diogenes.
Ribisi.
Yeah, Giovanni Ribisi from all sorts of cool things.
He's
He
really
used
to be a young
well,
actor.
he was in A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Yes, he was in A Million
also
Ways in the
mainly a
West.
comedian
Like
actor,
that,
He is,
right?
yeah, he's a comedic actor.
It was really cool to see him like.
I used
in a more
to
grounded
remember like all
movie.
the like crappy shows he was on during his like when he was young. He used to be on Friends as Phoebe's drug-addled.
I
little
remember
brother.
that. I remember that.
Okay, so
He's also the creepy dude in Ted.
Yes, he is the creepy dude in Ted. He's supposed to be the son. He's supposed to be, I believe, Diogenes the dog. I probably didn't say that right. Who's this famous Greek philosopher who would live in a bowl and like would piss and shit everywhere and like was disgusting in public. And his whole thing was cynicism or pessimism. Sorry, pessimism. But the point is, like that dude was a fucking reference.
Sounds like
to him.
existentialism.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's kind of like
Like, what's the point
existentialism.
to
It's like one of
everything?
the early precursors to it. But the point is, that's what that dude was totally there to represent. He's totally there to ask her the questions of like, is any of this there? Like that's what Diogenes did.
Don't forget it.
He would
Don't
sit.
forget the
He
one
would
thing.
sit pretty much in the middle of this Greek square. I forget where he was from, but he'd sit there in the middle of the square because he didn't have a home and living in the jar like a dog, and he just shit on everybody, both literally and figuratively, to tell them that their lives were bullshit and that they were just being a bunch of stuffy assholes, which is kind of what the dream is in certain ways.
Yeah. Well,
And-
the dream is fake for sure.
Oh yeah, the dream is
Like,
the
it's-
dream is a pedophile.
I
the
mean,
dream
but,
is literally
but even
a
like this
pedophile.
idea of the dream that everyone's like, oh, the dream, he's so cool. He's not.
Yeah,
He's
and even the opposite, the Bridges version of the dream of just like this brutal survival.
Yeah,
That's
like,
a bullshit too.
we
They
eat
could
people and we work
Yeah.
out, and that's how we live our lives
That's
now.
like-
It's like, no,
Yep.
dude, there's
yeah.
And we don't shake.
no, they don't shake. There's
Yeah.
no overexposure to
But it
lactic
was
acid.
cool seeing Keanu Reeves as like
Not an
this-
action star.
not an action star, not a good
Just
guy,
creepy.
Just very
Yeah, just
generally
good.
creepy.
Just
Well,
good
it showed
and
his
creepy.
range.
Yeah.
Obviously, Keanu Reeves,
got
quality
range.
actor.
Very
Another
good
interesting aspect, even though this is a western, it's more like a spaghetti western in the sense that there's no comeuppance. Even though a lot of spaghetti westerns have comeuppance, more modern westerns don't have it. Like the bad guy doesn't die. The main bad guy he's fine at the end.
Yeah.
He still has comfort.
Well, he's
he still
not
has
really
everything.
even the main bad guy.
He doesn't
like,
really do anything.
Yeah, he
to
doesn't
the main
he's
challenge
never
the protagonist
he's never
at
an
all.
actual antagonist. Like
I don't actually
He
think
could-
there is an antagonist.
he doesn't like he gets the kid, and it's clear he wants the kid for later on because
Yeah.
he's got her in that
Oh,
red
yeah.
shirt.
Weirdo.
Once you see the pregnant
And
women
that
like,
enough
walking
should
around,
have been
it's
like
very
we
clear.
should kill him. But
But even
no,
then,
he
like,
ends
like
up
when
going.
you think
Yeah.
like there's gonna be an ending fight where she takes the girl, you know, she just takes one of his pregnant women hostage.
Yeah, and
like,
then
to
he
me,
gets-
it's like, dude,
he
you got
drives
a
out.
plethora. Like, why are
And-
you cared about? Why are
well,
you cared about
because
this one?
it's still one. You
and
know,
I,
it's not-
and
it's
I
still-
understand,
it's still
but
its kid.
it's still like
Your baby's gonna
Yeah.
walk. You're gonna walk home. That baby's gonna look at you like, "What the were you saying
Yeah.
today, motherfucker?"
no, but it's more so.
Saying
Like,
about my babies.
it's kind of a thing where he uses them like almost as like livestock and as a resource. So it's like, why would he care
Oh,
about
yeah.
one missing when he has another?
So
one?
that
So-
again, he brings earlier on. Now I remember what you me up on. We were
Oh.
talking about how he was saying how people aren't livestock to stand in their own,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
but he compares them to a garden,
yeah,
which is just another form of
Yeah, it's-
livestock. It's agriculture.
Yeah.
yeah,
and
So,
a
like-
lot of the time it is used.
Yeah, and
as-
you use to grow it
Yeah.
too.
yeah.
So
he's so hypocritical. and
yeah,
just full of
he's so
himself.
full of shit because he's using people like livestock too. That's why he's got row after row of pregnant young women.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
why
my phone's blowing up.
like I was actually surprised we didn't end up finding out like the twist would be like oh, I actually keep all the bridge people eating humans, so if they're against me, so that way.
No, that would imply that there was like a plot or a motivating story behind the story.
Yeah.
Well, it's
for the most part, it's just
it's a western.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the thing. Like even spaghetti westerns or regular westerns, they have stakes. In them.
Yeah, but the stakes usually
I
was just a random
if
guy
halfway through this
writing
movie
in.
someone just like took a cleaver to this lady's head and just chopped her down, I'd have been like, we're in the same place we were when we started.
Yeah.
Yeah, there weren't. That was one of my problems that I had about the ending was like there weren't really any stakes in this movie because like I mean you're following it and it's getting pushed, but then it's like, what's it pushing to? And then when you get to the end, you're like, oh, that was it. Like, okay.
I feel like the stakes were trying to.
It was definitely surviving.
It was survival. Either
it was almost
through
like they made a world building.
The physical survival of like not getting eaten, and also like the spiritual survival of not getting spiritually consumed by father rape.
They did an awesome.
Not even that, but also going to like I'm just eating people now to survive. Like
that too.
Yeah,
but that's the thing though. I feel like if that's the case, then this might just be like the first chapter. Then
they were trying to like keep their humanity. And in the end, they're able to do that in the most pure form between the two by having their own little like community that they like we imagine they start. Because like that's what I got out of it. Like this is a nice little they set up their like fire and like maybe this is where they'll set up like a town or.
But that's what I don't understand. That was kind of something that turned me off too. Is that I don't like the notes I have here was why would the main character is Arlen. Why would she all of a sudden just have this random attraction to him to where she wants to spend a life with him?
She didn't have a random attraction. We saw it building up throughout like most of the movie.
I know, but it was still
she
like
spent a total of like 4 hours with him.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
not only that, when they were camping out and she was kind of making a move, she grabbed his knife and pointed it at him.
Yeah.
So it's not like she was really into him until the very end. And then not only that, it's like why would Miami Man all of a sudden feel compelled to be with her because he even says like I don't want to be with you.
Says he's like
well I'm assuming before then was because he was trying to get his kid and he was more concerned.
I know, but then like
after he has the kid and especially because she's the one who brings the kid back. But she's the one who also brings the kid back, showing that she actually has maternal instincts as well for the kid, which I imagine Miami Man's like you care about my kid. I'm willing to give you a shot.
Right. Like he would get a sense of that though in 4 hours. Like
I think it was longer than 4 hours because he was out in the desert for a while.
It was no more than like a day.
I think it was longer than.
And even then, like
the first day, when they were out there, but then there was a full other day beyond that because he got shot. Remember, and he was out on the desert by
himself. Though he wasn't with her.
And then he was healed up by Jim Carrey, and that must have taken at least another day. So it was at least 3 days.
He didn't spend any time with her in that day.
Oh no, I get what you mean.
So I'm saying like the cumulative time that they spent together was between 4 hours and 20.
Okay, this problem though is like a real semantics one because it's a movie problem of like how the am I supposed to show you an entire relationship, mother? It's a movie.
3 days later.
Yeah.
Oh, that doesn't work.
There's a lot of movies.
There's tons of movies where
3 days later, and then you'd be like 3 days later, and now they're just what?
No, 3 days later, it went from the knife pull in the cave to because if that sandstorm that they caught in had been like if he was like in Cuban accent like we're gonna be stuck here for a few days.
Yeah,
like, okay,
that's fair for the sandstorm that lasted.
Yeah, and they were only stuck in that for a couple minutes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And he wasn't even like making a move on her. He even thought like this is kind of awkward.
No, it was an awkward like sort of like you know.
Yeah, because she was over there pissing, and then he came over with the thing.
Yeah,
it's just there wasn't enough for a relationship to be built. That's why like and it made sense. For
in the end, it's not like they're getting married. At the end, they're flirting with each other.
I know. But,
I mean.
But
is this man versus man? Is it man versus self? Is it man versus
It's all of that.
It's none of it.
No, it's all of that.
I would argue that it's nothing.
But it touches on all of them, but it never becomes all of them.
Here the thing is, I think because in existentialism, it's like yes is no because it's all those answers could work for you, but none of them work if existentialism is correct at all, right? Like,
but are you applying an existential view to the movie after it was made, or was the person who made the movie thinking like, "Oh, this will be so existential, everyone's gonna love it"?
I think the person who made it was trying to ask existential questions about what it's like to be a person. Maybe they were trying to be a clever douchebag. I don't know, but
I'm not saying that they were like an edgelord. I just think that they missed the mark.
Yeah, and that's possible. It's hard to write these movies.
I'm not.
I
can't do it.
Yeah, that's true.
I can't do it.
Compared to Mad Max, which does the same thing.
Mad Max is not that good.
The newest one?
Yeah,
Fury
I did
Road?
not like it that much.
It was all right.
It was
Fury Road.
It was definitely more overhyped than anything.
Absolutely.
I dug it, and I watched it without.
It was
being
good,
hyped,
but
though,
it was just a little overhyped. But like,
I would watch it again and just be like, yeah, it was all right, but
it's just I think the main problem though with this
They
is that
spent
with
more
those,
of that movie driving in one direction, and then they were like, "Why don't we just go back?" And then they just went
I
back.
know,
and then like
literally,
just got there the next day, and I was like,
know.
"This is the same problem I have in every movie. If you don't clarify how much time has passed, you."
That's because more things happened between the first time when they were trying to. We're getting on the wrong movie.
we're on the wrong movie. But like I think
the point is
the problem
the point
is I like it makes sense what Jordan's saying, but to go even further, like those categories you're saying, like is it man versus man, man versus
It's not even a
self, man
hero's
versus
journey.
nature.
There's no
Exactly. Well, I think
there's a
the
hero's
problem
journey because
the problem
she gets
is
kicked out
that
of the normal world immediately, and she goes straight into the other
That's
world.
not the journey. If that's how it starts,
No,
that's the destination, baby.
no. The
You've
hero's
arrived
journey-
at your
The
destination.
hero's journey begins with the tipping point. You're in the regular world, and then you get to the tipping point and get sent into the weird mystical world. That's the Bad Batch.
it's just the problem is though is that those things
For
that
that-
you brought up, it
For
only
that full
touches
thing, though,
those.
she also has to like enter the underworld and then exit the underworld.
Well, the underworld was definitely getting her fucking arm and leg.
Oh, that's
chopped
fair.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The underworld is definitely getting.
No,
her
they
arm
get
and leg
halfway
chopped
through a
off.
hero's journey and then go.
It's just it
I mean,
it
she-
only touches.
she saves
that's
the kid.
problem.
She does save the kid,
Yeah.
And she doesn't.
even
kill
though
an-
she put the kid in danger
That's fair. That's
by taking drugs and bringing a child to a rave.
I don't think she knew it was LSD, but maybe you're right.
She knowingly
should've
injected
fucking known it
a
was
pill.
LSD.
You
though.
see a pill at a rave. It's
Yeah.
not going to be LSD or ecstasy.
Well,
She took the
I was
child
kind of
to the
curious-
rave.
I was kind of
Yeah.
curious about what degree of post-apocalyptic this is. I noticed there were writing on the wall, and I thought they might be dates, but I think they were just the little codes they have on their neck.
Yeah,
yeah.
they all have a number
Yeah,
after
no,
their
I'm
BB.
It's like-
curious
it's
how
like
much
their-
of the
their
world is
prison
still
name.
the world like we know it. Like,
I don't know. Yeah,
like,
that's tough.
because
That's
Miami
what I-
Man was Miami Man. That seems pretty like correct, but his clothing seemed like it was from the 90s or 80s.
Yeah, but then
Yeah,
again, they're
that
also
pink suit.
surviving. He
Yeah,
could
that
have just
pink
picked
suit.
up random clothes.
He's just wearing pink pants.
He's
I
just
love
wearing
that.
pink pants. It's funny.
But this definitely felt like it skimmed the surface on a lot because I think maybe this might be like a first chapter in probably like a 3-movie
I don't want it to
series.
turn into
I
like
don't
a
think it's
machete
gonna be that
situation.
because it's
where
been
like
out for a
each
while.
one that comes
No.
out after becomes more
Maybe.
satirical.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. Like, no, I don't want it to be, but like if it did, it would make sense because it's like okay, this didn't really dig into like the things
Let's
that you,
get,
the
let's
three
get real
topics you were
quick
talking
into
about.
Jim Carrey's character, then we'll like wrap it up.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
we gotta
Jim
do
Carrey's in
Annihilation,
this
yeah.
movie randomly.
so
I thought
Jim
that was really
Carrey
cool.
Randomly is in the movie playing one of the
The Good Samaritan, pretty much.
yeah that, and you could also say he's the wandering wise man.
Yeah.
You know,
he helps both the main characters.
yeah, he's your hermit who lives out in the desert. And
That doesn't pick
Scavenges,
sides.
yeah.
scavenges, doesn't pick sides. He seems like he's very wise without doing anything
or saying anything.
or saying anything. Yeah,
And that's
But he
something.
is.
That's something I want to point out
He
too.
surprisingly does some very fucking wise things with just miming it. And it was
which
pretty
seems
dope.
to fit with the hero's journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that it just
He's
ends.
also fucking Odin because ravens fly.
Oh yeah, he
behind him.
totally controls those
Yeah.
ravens for
And
sure.
he has a fucking long stick that he had in his shopping cart too.
Yeah.
And then he also might eat the dead because remember we saw the raven eating that woman's eyes, and then later on we see him catch a raven and eat the raven.
Yeah,
So he cyclical nature of consuming.
I
life
guess,
and
but
death.
that's
That
a
might be a
roundabout
stretch.
way of
That's a
doing
it was
it.
stretch.
Yeah.
it was really cool. Though,
That's just in
seeing,
Game of Thrones. So
I mean,
when I
in a
saw
weird
that, I
way,
was
we
like,
eat grass if we eat a hamburger. So
exactly.
It was really cool though seeing Jim Carrey in a role where he has no dialogue.
that
at
was
all.
interesting.
Yeah.
And it was cool because it's like obviously
I mean,
he has range as
The
a
thing
dramatic
is,
actor. and
he's
it's
also
funny,
a very
but-
physical actor. So just
exactly.
getting rid of one of his things was
Yeah.
interesting because we still got to see a lot of his range through the other
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Through all that movement.
He can
was
carry
able
a
to do.
story without saying anything.
Yeah.
Is what he showed.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really
yeah,
awesome.
loved his character. Loved how like mystical and
I
he
like
seemed.
that character.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Let's
then.
get to Annihilation.
Annihilation. Jordan's
Uh,
favorite
so-
movie.
This movie. Let me get
Jordan's
my
pick.
notes.
Let Jordan start
Yeah,
off. Since
Jordan's
he's
pick,
My
everybody.
effing pick. Hold on.
Another pick that
I've
he was
actually got
disappointed.
some cool, like metaphysical things that I noticed in this one too.
As like a structural note.
Big horses.
Yeah. This movie had a lot of jump cuts.
Oh yeah, that's true. There were a lot
There
of
were a
different-
shitload.
Yeah.
but I think that was because it was told in a non-linear style.
Even in that sense,
Jump cuts
like-
just don't look good though.
there's
No,
a,
yeah, you're right,
a
they don't look
point
good.
where like she's painting a wall, and then like he walks in, and then it shows the wall again, and there's not as much paint, and I'm just like, what? That's you couldn't get that.
Well, all right, that's bad continuity, not jump cuts.
Yeah,
Whatever.
that's
I mean,
continuity.
also jump cuts, but that was another
There
problem.
were
that I
a
had.
couple of jump cuts, but that's more continuity. Continuity,
We-
everybody,
all right,
is
Jordan,
when
go on,
something
talk about
doesn't
the
look
actual
the
movie.
same
You're not, like,
as it did in
that's
the
a
previous
nitpick.
shot.
That
Come
is a
on.
nitpick. I thought that it was cheesy as shit.
Yeah.
She
I-
is sort of this like
Did you know it's? It doesn't actively say that it's based off of something, but it is based off of something. You can just
That's-
tell if you know the
that's-
story.
I don't know the story. Is it Chernobyl?
No, it's based off of a story by H.P. Lovecraft called
Oh!
The Color Out of Space.
I didn't know that.
And like I can tell that because like it follows the beats of Color Out of Space like so closely. A falling star.
The thing at the end does feel Lovecraftian.
Yeah, like falling star falls from space. A weird light emanates from it that like doesn't like register what we call color, but like we see it and it trips us the out, and it slowly like mutates and kills everything around it.
That's
like,
interesting.
Exactly the same
Yeah,
thing.
and it's literally the same thing. Okay.
In case you didn't know, Eddie is our lore master, pretty much.
Yeah, I'm the lore master.
Anything that is from a book or anything that has any kind of backstory, Eddie's gonna know it.
Or yeah, a bunch of stuff. But yeah, H.P. Lovecraft likes to write stuff about otherworldly. Liked, exactly. Hey, like. You don't know.
You know where he is.
But yeah, and this movie's just a lot about that. I didn't realize it at first because I thought it was just going to be a little more of a generic.
It still kind of is.
It is still pretty.
No, it's pretty generic sci-fi.
The Lovecraftian aspect of it was the only saving grace. That really intrigued me.
That's. I'm glad that you found something to like about it.
Yeah, like I found. I like that it was Color Out of Space. I think that story is really cool. It could have been done better.
Okay.
Like the idea of like this weird color that mutates you. In the story, it's actually like a first-hand account from like a neighbor who watches his family slowly deteriorate.
Okay.
So that's way cooler than watching these 3-4 like dumb idiots walk through the
Let's get into the synopsis. So
it's your typical team versus a monster movie.
Well, okay.
The team goes in.
A meteorite lands on Earth.
Yeah.
It emanates a strange shimmer, as they call it,
which is growing slowly.
Like I said, it's
which pisses me off because you're gonna tell me nobody sees this 100-foot wall of oil raining down, and then also that you're gonna tell me that this has the potential to wipe out whole states, and no one knows about this.
Well, because they've been keeping it.
At that point
though, where it's gonna be literally swallowing states.
If I can stand on a shore and look with a telescope and be like, well, that's a weird color.
Yeah, you can't block that. You can't block that out of sight. And then
eventually what happened, and that's why at this point in the story when we're at the 3 years later, this is like the tipping point. Either we figure some out or we're
gonna tell everyone.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, is that when they say, like, oh, this has the potential to wipe out states because it's growing, it's not like, oh, we just found this out. Oh, no, we've known for a while.
It's growing,
and
it's like it's growing exponentially. That's why. So, like, every time you
but that's the thing. Even if you know,
it goes up times 2.
But that's what I'm saying, though. If you know it's growing exponentially, how can nobody know about this at all?
I had a question.
Is what I don't understand.
Well, they're keeping it under wraps.
My thing is,
how can you keep that under wraps?
Fair enough.
Why are they sending teams of people to walk 8 days into the middle, fly over that mother, and jump straight down?
Oh, parachuting? I think it's because they can't
I think it's like a dome kind of thing.
It's a dome.
It's literally like
we got that you can jump from space from.
Straight up,
I saw the dude do it.
So you mean like straight up above?
Yeah.
That?
I think it's actually like the whole thing is covered.
Space?
It definitely causes.
Yeah, but eventually you're gonna fall through it.
It definitely also causes. It also causes like problems with technology when you go near it.
See.
So for all we know, like your chute wouldn't even work or something. For all we know.
Yeah, but chute's not like an electrical.
No, not technology like that.
Or like a plane would. Yeah, what if a plane even just flying
technology.
near it gets taken out?
I guess I kind of understand because they do the whole. As soon as you walk in, you just lose a week.
Yeah,
which isn't expanded upon, but it was pretty cool.
It could have been, it could have been expanded.
So
better.
She's a doctor, a biologist.
She's a biologist.
Studies cell mutations.
Cell mutations specifically.
At Johns Hopkins.
And okay.
Cell splitting.
We've established her knowledge base.
Yeah.
She teaches at Johns Hopkins. She was in the military, and she
military
teaches
for 7
biology.
years.
That's it.
Yeah, that's her.
That's it.
The character.
That's all she knows.
She gets that. It's more than we get.
I mean,
and who's on this team with her?
We can assume she knows other things just like by passing. She's in.
Yeah, I mean, she got her
but
doctorate.
she didn't know enough to be on this team in the first place.
Well, no, she was on the team though.
No, she's on the team because she's the only person who got a visit from somebody who went into the thing.
Exactly. Yeah. But take that out. So she has no purpose.
They get to Area X.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Weak.
Area X.
Well, it's never stated. It's never said Area X.
Yes, it is.
That's the name of the first act.
Every location that they have, there's a title card.
I saw a title card. No one said Area X.
No, the title cards appear for their location.
No, the title card is fine. I'm just saying no one said Area X.
So you're gonna give it a pass because no one out loud said this is Area X that we're.
I can give it a pass because no one said it out loud.
Garbage.
That's where they made.
That's
Wolverine,
what it's called.
And you can go yourself.
But it's not the same place though.
It's not.
You don't know.
So yeah.
You
So
don't
her
know.
husband.
How do you think he got his regeneration powers?
The shimmer.
He was born
The
that way.
shimmer. He was born in the shimmer, and he came out.
Oh God.
That's why he doesn't remember anything.
Oh no.
And,
It's
and
canon. So
But,
okay, so it's important to know her husband's been gone for 12 months. He was still in the military. She
Believed to
was
be
not.
dead.
Believed to be dead. He just rolls up.
They
all
were
Nowhere,
having-
hair
they were
slicked back
having
and everything.
marital problems
Yeah,
that
Oscar
we
Isaac.
slowly get clips
Which
of
I
from
didn't
him.
understand. I don't understand.
She cheated on him.
Well, did she cheat on him or was it
She-
while he was gone?
She cheated on him.
No, it was
but
when he
right
was
before he
believed-
left.
Okay.
That's at
oh,
least-
that's right, because that's why
But
he was
even still-
self-destructive. Because that's
but-
what the therapist says, or the psychologist who's on the mission for some reason,
Yeah. She's literally.
leading the mission for
she,
some reason.
Because she ran
Does
the,
she lead the mission,
ran
though?
the
Why
thing.
does she run that
Because
place?
like, I assumed guy after guy who ran before her went in just like she's doing and died.
Is it said that?
Why was a psychiatrist or psychologist in charge of a military operation?
It's down to the last person who's like in charge. That's what I
That's the
assumed.
last person?
That because like we're at the bare bones of it. They even say like we're almost like we've sent so many people. That's why we're only gonna send.
There's
scientists
no
sometimes.
other smart people in this world.
There are other
that could
smart
have
people,
led
but they're
this
trying to
mission?
keep this. They're trying to keep this shit under wraps, bro.
Obviously not if
Why
they're
is
recruiting Natalie
psychologist
Portman.
leading the mission?
Okay, Natalie Portman literally met a alien
Yeah.
from
She
the
didn't
thing.
know that though.
Yeah, she thought it was her husband.
She
Yeah,
thought it was
but-
her husband.
And then
who
he
started
okay, so yeah, so he
convulsing.
comes home and then like after like 5 minutes of exposition is like I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore.
And
I
then
don't
Because
know.
he
blood
has
shoots
actually-
out
And then
his
he
mouth.
just starts dying, and she's
We-
like, "What's happening?"
'Cause-
And then the choppers hone in on the ambulance.
And then she's like,
conveniently,
what?
conveniently.
Of all the things, honing in on an ambulance is convenient.
yes.
And
Wait till they get to the
it's
hospital.
just a cell phone, and they could hone in on the
Not even a
ambulance.
hospital.
Wait till
Why
they
do they take her to the base?
Because they have the body, you can't just leave her there. She literally saw somebody who was
Then
supposedly dead
so
come
much-
back.
Then question
So
her,
much.
like isolate her from him,
Yeah,
and then
they
question her
didn't
later.
They did do
They
that.
didn't need
they
to take her
brought her
to,
to the base
They
it
didn't need to
was
take
at.
her to Area X. They could have taken her to a separate facility and been like, "What do you
Exactly.
know?"
I don't get why that gripe matters. Like it's a movie.
Because Natalie
because
Portman
it's
has
just
no
the
purpose
whole
in
reason.
this movie.
The whole
What do
reason
you
she's there.
mean? Her whole
only
thing is
purpose she
I
has-
understand cell division. The whole concept is cells are dividing like
That's
crazy.
convenient.
Yes, that
though.
happens to
That's
be
the
what's happening.
plot of the story.
But
No, it's
that's
not.
not why she was picked to
What's
go
the
in.
plot of the story? Then?
She was picked to go in because her husband came back.
It had nothing
That's
to
the
do
whole
with her
reason
knowledge.
she got to go in.
She just out of nowhere is like looking like, biology. I might know something.
Yeah.
I think I can help you.
The
Okay,
manic depressive
that's it.
therapist goes, "Well, I guess I can't stop you."
Yeah, and then when she said her main motivation is I owe him something. What
What
do
do
you
you
owe
owe
him?
him?
She cheated on him.
She did. She did.
Is
cheat on
that
him.
is
she
that
did
enough?
Fuck that guy.
Is that enough?
No, not at all.
Oh,
Not
she
at
died
all.
when she and that's why he left to die.
No,
No,
it's
no,
not
for
why
sure.
he
For
left.
sure, it is
No,
why he left.
that's
to
why
die.
he left
So
to
that's
die.
what the therapist tells her inside the base when she's like, "Why would they do this? And why does anyone do this? You know, it's a suicide mission." And she goes, "It's not suicide. It's self-destructive." Everyone they send in specifically has baggage, which was made clear with the drug addict, the woman who cuts herself.
Yeah.
Tessa
Each one of
Thompson.
them.
A
each
second
one,
movie I've picked with her in it, not on purpose.
Each one of them had no reason to come back
Yeah,
out.
Yeah.
but for her, for the psychiatrist, it's a suicide mission because she has cancer.
Yeah.
So for her, it's a suicide mission.
Yes,
Yes.
for her it's a suicide mission. But also she's so goddamn depressed for some reason.
Well, because she's gonna die from cancer.
She's gonna die from the radiation in the shimmer.
That too, but
She
later
knows
on.
that. I don't know why she's got to bring this like. Oh,
also, so
woe
the
is me.
shimmer, from what I understand, like they try to break it down scientifically.
They say that. Oh yeah, this bothered
it's
me.
like
Yeah,
light
they
reflecting.
move science.
refract DNA.
Yeah.
Refracted
How?
DNA.
You can't refract a solid object. It's there. You can refract light.
Yeah.
Or a wave, a sound wave.
Well,
you cannot refract.
we're assuming
solids.
that this light that's emitting the shimmer is some sort of ununderstood form of
That's the
energy
thing,
light.
too.
But
that
then
you-
don't describe it like that because it's a solid.
No, I
thing
understand what
has,
you
like,
mean. I understand
shape.
what you mean. They should have gone with way more like
Literally could have just been like,
overly
yeah,
generalized, like looser terms. Like
Yes.
we don't know what the is going on.
Yeah.
By all expressive like ways of explaining it, it's magic, but it's happening.
yes,
Yeah,
that,
and
I
That
would have
would've been
loved
fine,
that.
right?
I'd been like, yep.
Yeah, that would have been fine.
that-
And
and that's the
honestly, more
problem.
movies should do that,
Yes.
but things want to pretend to be sciencey and it it up.
Yeah.
Refracted
Thor itself up
DNA.
by doing that too.
And that's the problem too, is that it established the rules of it too. It's like, okay, we understand things may not be the same within the shimmer,
Yeah.
but we do at least agree that there are still some laws in the shimmer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 'cause
like gravity works.
Yeah, because gravity works. Oxygen is still a thing.
Yeah, they can still
But then-
breathe.
So, like,
but you're gonna
Everything
tell me
inside
that-
the shimmer is supposed to. So this is an interesting way of thinking of it that I got when I was watching it. The shimmer is like if
Put the
thing
mic to your
jizzed on
lips.
everything.
Put the
Sorry.
mic to your lips.
My bad. The shimmer.
hear my
The
thoughts.
shimmer is like. Can you guys hear my brain? The shimmer is like if the thing from the thing,
Yeah.
you know, all over, like this entire area,
Uh-huh.
and now it's all infected with this whole weird like we're one symbiotic relationship.
kind of.
Because everything is kind of mixed together and can kind of break apart and reform and then mix with something else. There are people who are half plant.
No, they explain that. So it wasn't that the people were half plant. So they're saying that the way the plant people that you saw in the movie were like just standing like that was the shimmer refracted the DNA from a specific
Refracted
gene,
DNA.
refracted DNA from a specific gene or set of genetic code that made the plants, because it like hit it and it bounced off, and then made the plants grow in that shape.
Oh.
So those are not plant people.
They're
They're literally just plants, but because the DNA is refracting
of human DNA.
it's
Oh,
growing in
okay.
the shape of a human.
I thought that they were human beings that
But
like
Okay,
the
well,
reason
then
you think that is
why
because
does
Tessa
Tessa-
Thompson starts turning into a f***ing plant, right? But when she goes around the corner, she doesn't see a Tessa Thompson-shaped plant. She just sees plants.
yeah.
And that's
I
the thing,
think
too,
she
where
just
if-
kind of falls to the
actually-
ground and becomes a bunch of
the
leaves.
problem too
Fair
is that
point.
it broke one of its rules that it set out too.
I don't think that was a broken rule. I think that's just a confusing way of putting it because we do. See
No, it
that-
was a broken rule
no,
because she's
no,
gone.
Let me finish.
She is just
bro.
vanished.
Let
Yeah.
me finish, bro. We see that there are other
Bro.
bodies that were pretty much just like fungus explosions.
That happened, yes.
And I think that's
Okay.
what probably happened to Tessa Thompson. We just didn't see the aftermath.
Yeah.
Well,
It
then
could
it's like,
be-
then why didn't we then? Like
Yeah,
it should have
we showed like
it.
Fair
three other
enough.
people.
Fair
we
enough.
didn't
You
show that
should,
one.
yeah, and that's the thing. It falls into that cliche of like a team versus your monster movie, where the team slowly gets picked off one by one.
It's
until
called the 10 Little Indians.
Yeah, until obviously Natalie Portman, who is the big name in this movie, is left for no reason.
Yeah,
She's left.
She should have died.
She
But
should have
well,
died.
actually, she
Well, because she's
she
the one who
could
has
have
the
died.
most. She has the most drive
Yeah.
to make
she
it to the
could
end.
be dead.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah,
ambiguous.
she could be dead.
I think
too.
it's super ambiguous because the light thing happens in their
so
eyes.
here's something that somebody told me. So right off the bat, her husband is dead.
Oh yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, he's
we
gone.
see
He's
that
gone.
happen on
He
on
did
camera.
a
he gets
incendiary grenade.
completely recreated
Yeah.
by the shimmer.
Yeah.
So
Well, copied, not
you're-
recreated.
No,
more,
it's
more so.
recreated. It's everything that made up him, but just through matter that the shimmer had on.
Yeah, it's a
hand.
copy. It didn't recreate him though.
That what is a copy but a recreation?
No, like I think I'm meaning like it made a
There is no originality in this. There's no connection between the two.
Okay.
Yes, you're right.
Okay,
But-
that's what I thought you meant.
But there's a lot to be said of whether or not that means anything because this shimmer is so close to accurate. This is probably the exact same feelings and thoughts and everything.
Yeah.
And so
To an extent, because
you
he is more stoic than his human
you
counterpart
just
was.
walking into the that's also because the shimmer can't perfectly
Yeah.
recreate all the
Yeah.
aspects of human
Well, it can
emotion.
only do the nature side of it, not the nurture
Yeah,
side.
yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever's different from the way he was raised, the shimmer can't recreate.
That's why
Yeah.
when he walks in, he has like no conscious like how he got there or anything
Yeah.
because the shimmer
But
just
he's very
shat
chill.
him out there.
Yeah.
He doesn't know, but he's really chill about it.
Yeah.
He's like, I
But
don't know.
okay. So the point is, the fact that she was in the shimmer for so long means that constantly, as she's just been walking around, her own genetics have been changing.
which she sees when she
Yeah.
looks at her blood
So
under a
that means
microscope. That she just
by
has.
the end, even though there isn't,
is
like
that
a
what that
full-
was?
She just
Yeah.
has a microscope, and she's like constantly like, "Oh, just gonna
She's
look at
just
my
looking
blood.
at her
Oh,
bloodline,
it's
yeah.
mutated."
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe it wasn't then that she died. Maybe she just became mutated.
Well, no, I
she's-
think that she's dead.
I think she completely changed
Yeah.
to the point where you can consider
Like
her
she
dead.
evolved?
It's the question of like if you send your the blueprint of you from one starship to another, and they break you down on one end and then they put you back together on the other. Is that still you?
I don't know if
Like
that's
the
it.
Star
But
Star
that's
Trek
with her.
theory.
But like, and even in our own bodies, like in was it 7 years and every cell regenerates?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So like that to a hyper degree with her.
it's like to
so-
another level.
Yeah, so
the
like
extreme
even her
level.
brain cells are probably like completely new now.
Yeah.
And that's why her eyes are glowing and because she's a living embodiment of the shimmer now in human form.
But also, we don't see her walk out of that area and
Yeah,
go back.
she
like,
just- she
she
could've-
could have made it 15 feet,
Yeah.
and that thing came running behind her and just
Yeah.
ganked
Well,
her.
it also it killed itself by being and trying to regenerate fire or create fire.
Yeah.
Apparently, he does not understand how fire or what fire was.
Well, why would it?
I mean,
Very
it's
true.
supposed to be light, and fire is just light.
Fire is actually
It was
gas.
cosmic
All
fire.
right.
Yeah.
It was
You know what I
colorful.
mean?
Yeah.
It's
But-
like heat and energy.
It
I
is
would
heat
assume.
energy, yeah.
I would assume it would know. Oh, too much of this would kill me.
Yeah.
So
But
yeah, so
I don't know.
pretty much, Natalie Portman is
Also,
the only
the weird
survivor.
generic
She gets-
metallic
she-
alien face was kind of
Well,
creepy.
She
Okay,
she makes
we're
it to
jumping
the
to the end
lighthouse.
though. Like they,
Yeah.
they
I'm just kind of like breaking it down for them.
yeah, they
Sorry.
well,
They
'cause
make
no,
it-
they
they
go
make
in.
it to the
She
lighthouse.
basically decides like, oh, we're going in, and then they spend days doing
We
something
see-
we don't know because as soon as you walk in, you just forget for
Yeah,
a
we
week.
see
Yeah.
an albino alligator
The
with
albino
shark's teeth.
alligator with shark's teeth,
Which the
attached
CGI
them.
looks garbage.
Oh no, I thought at least.
No,
it was like the right size.
there were some CGI that was great,
thought
and
the
then when the
alligator
garbage
was good.
CGI came out, it stuck out a lot.
Guys, we're missing the obvious problem with
What?
this is the constant screaming, "It's got my bag! It's got my bag!"
Oh my
That's what
God.
you're yelling.
Oh yeah, that was kind of weird. I
That's what
noticed
you're
that.
yelling.
'Cause,
Take
like,
off the backpack.
Also, like, why?
And
the
not
fuck
only
did
that,
they-
that water isn't shallow enough for
Why
you
the
to see
did
what
they-
it is.
Yeah.
Well,
You're-
no, it's dark swamp water, dude.
It's a white alligator. You're not gonna see
a great white gator,
a
bro.
pure
It's a great
white
white
alligator
gator,
in
bro.
some dark water.
Oh, is that why it was albino? Because it's a great white shark mixed with a
Probably. He said it's a shark gator.
shark gator.
I guess it was
Shark
in the
As
gator.
a
ocean.
great
It
white
makes
gator. I don't
sense.
know.
It
I'm
makes
calling
sense.
it that. I don't
Yeah,
know if
because
that's
of
what
all
it
the
was.
teeth it
That's
has.
pretty dope.
So maybe, but either
and
way,
then
like
there's
you're not
Skull
gonna
Bear.
see that.
The
Skull
skull bear
bear.
was. Oh, help me!
What's with the Pokemon? The little
Yeah, it
deer
was
Pokemon,
super-
the life and death Pokemon.
That was pretty cool.
It-
That,
that
that
was-
was pretty cool.
it was
that
cool
that
looking.
that was animal CGI that looked
that's
good.
That's an aspect of this movie that I forgot to mention. So there's a heavy reference on the whole concept of regeneration and death and renewal.
Yeah.
And we
Like
see that one of them
reincarnation
has
and
an Ouroboros tattoo on them.
Yeah.
And
Natalie
at the end
Portman
of the
does
movie,
the Infinity one.
yeah,
She got that after she got bit.
It started growing on her.
Yeah.
yeah,
it
because
grew on. It
ate
wasn't a
off of-
tattoo.
It was it was eaten off one girl who had it, and then it was transferred to her.
Who had it?
One of the other girls
One
had
of
it.
the
had
other
a-
random ones.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
It
it,
might have
just
been
bit
that
her.
paramedic chick.
I thought it just bit her, and then she
And
immediately
then
started growing
also
it.
the girl who got her throat torn out. That's why the bear could use her voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything that it bit or took from you, you had
which
access
was dope,
to. Yeah.
but also confusing because that power doesn't make sense with how any of this.
No,
works.
it doesn't make any
doesn't.
sense.
But it's cool.
It's
like-
scary,
it's like
but
Jeepers
it-
Creepers. And
that's
like
all
other-
it is.
I
it's movies.
hated the random.
So does that
Oh,
mean
you
that
didn't tell us
fucking
that was your husband. Now I'm.
Now I'm gonna
Yeah, that
tie
was
all
dumb.
of you up.
Why would that
Yeah.
make any sense?
Yeah.
Well, even then, like if
where I
like so, what you
imagine
found out
the-
and she was
the-
lying about it. Okay,
Well,
why
'cause
do you
she
need
was
to,
an angry lesbian?
But why do you need to tie up the whole team?
Yeah, it was just.
Why didn't
her
you
who
just
broke
tie
that
up Natalie
rule.
Portman
Yeah.
if that bothered you, or if at least Natalie Portman and the quote unquote leader of the group?
Yeah.
Why didn't you tie them up? Why did you have to tie up Tessa Thompson? Who had nothing to do with
it.
it?
Was your average. They're going insane.
Yeah.
slowly
Yeah,
from
no, and which was
overexposure.
established when they found the base that had
Yeah.
the video
Because the two theories were they either die immediately or they go insane
and
then
kill
they
themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's both.
It
There's
is
like-
both.
yeah,
It
there-
turns out
yeah.
it's both.
It's
Yeah,
both.
there are things out there that have been mutated that are pretty dope
Yeah.
looking. and
But
then-
it's kind of weird because you know
I
they
would have rather
enter.
just like a 30 minutes, like most of the movie just being monsters.
That
That
would
would have
be
been way
great.
more
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think it would have been better if one of them had died when they woke up because they enter and then 4 days they don't remember anything. I'm like, not one of you died in those
Yeah,
4
all of
days.
you hiked 4
I
to
guess
6 days
we can
in and-
assume the
Yeah.
first time you lose your memories when you get to like the real dangerous epicenter, maybe.
Well, it's not
Yeah,
even that. It was
possibly.
like right when they entered, they lost their memory
Well,
immediately.
it was
No,
from
but
the entrance
they've-
until that
They've
point.
gone in
Yeah.
deep enough 4 days worth. That's 4
no,
days
because
worth
they
of
don't remember
walking.
those 4 days. They said,
But
"Do
they
you
don't
do you
wa-
remember
they don't
entering?"
re-
Like, I just remember entering, and now I'm
They
here.
hit the tree line and then they don't remember.
But that means from 4 days
Oh.
worth of walking into the tree
Yeah.
line.
But the tree line, oh yeah,
It was almost like
because we just see them in the
like
middle
we
of
just
it.
fast
That's true,
traveled
yeah.
and we got here and it's whatever.
So
'Cause
we
there
can
weren't any
assume
enemies nearby.
maybe
There weren't any
there was
enemies nearby
maybe just
yet.
like the beginning of the Shimmer doesn't have that mental
Yeah.
thing, but you know
Can
it's
we-
all bullshit.
Can we talk about the therapist lady in that hole in the lighthouse working the title of the film into her sentence?
Does she say annihilation? Oh,
Yeah, she
annihilation.
says-
it's this.
It's annihilation.
I did
Annihilation.
like when we see the actual like light alien.
Yeah, whatever that thing
the
is. Yeah, it was
cosmic
cool.
fart
The entity, yeah.
Yeah,
from
That-
Freaking
and
Morty.
like, that's another thing. That was another pair of CGI that looked great.
yeah.
But
But-
yeah, that's a great like concept that they could have worked on. That would have been better. The
But-
cosmic horror of just this
but
big
why-
unknowable
Yeah.
f***ing light.
Why did she have to say the name of the movie
Annihilation.
in her sentence?
And also, it's like
Because
okay,
man, what are
We
we?
know they're
Some sort
being
of
annihilated.
Suicide Squad?
stop.
What
a
are
good
we?
one.
Some sort
What
of
is this?
couch potatoes?
That was a good one.
I worked that into
But,
so many D&D campaigns.
Oh my god.
What are we? Some sort
I
of,
say it almost once a week.
what am I?
But,
Some sort of Fresh
But
Prince?
that's but But that's another.
What is this? Some kind of annihilation?
What is this? Some kind of annihilation?
It doesn't
that's
work.
the problem I had too.
Smith, what are you doing here? What is
The
this?
dialogue, how awful it was.
But another problem I had was that so she's saying, oh, this is what it's growing to. It's growing to annihilation. Okay, it's a bad thing then.
Yeah.
If that's the case, why is Natalie Portman well, I mean, obviously she got evolved, but why are you sticking up for it? At the end, we're like, it wasn't bad.
Because that's not Natalie Portman.
Do we know that?
No,
that's
but
how ambiguous. That's how ambiguous it is.
Super ambiguous.
But that's the thing. We have literally like 3 possible theories that we all think. You think like maybe she evolved. You think
it's not
the
a-
entity.
It's
I
not that
think
she
escaped.
evolved. It's just that she like
she's no longer who she was when
like
she went in.
literally. She's like if somebody made a clone of her.
Well, she evolved
But
because it's still her. It's
No,
still
I know,
her, but
that's
she's a
not
higher
evolving.
thing.
Evolving is like changing.
Like she
it.
transcended.
Changing over time is evolving.
Yeah.
If she evolved like mentally, like she transcended pretty much.
I wouldn't even
Well,
say
she's
that.
at least on the same level as that fake version of.
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
husband.
that's true.
She's at least on the same
True.
level of the Shimmer to be all of a sudden sticking up
Yeah.
for it, saying it's not like
we do all have
malicious.
3 different versions of how this ended.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that is not a testament to how it's so artsy.
Yeah,
because
I
we
don't
know
know.
how
That's
it's
literally-
just
like,
garbage.
I didn't
We don't
think
know
it was
what
a
happened.
good movie. let's wrap this one up because it's already getting it's about to be 10.
Yeah.
Like I said, yeah, it's not a good movie, but it's got a cool
Yeah, I wrote
concept.
down
I like.
that movie.
I like the idea of like this Lovecraftian spooky like.
No,
bigger
I
than
think they
that.
could have
That'd
done
I
be
would
it
like
great.
if it was more.
They could have done it
Lovecraftian.
right.
Yeah, it could have been done.
They could have
better.
done it right.
It
They
was
too
chose
bad.
not to.
It's just
Too bad,
another
yeah.
movie that was good on paper, but when executed, wasn't that great.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
too many cliches of a
It-
standard.
was
it's
super
kind of like
cheesy.
if they
Yeah.
mixed like that movie, that story I said, the light out of the color out of space, and
Yeah. Signs
and pod people.
and pod people.
Yeah, and pod people.
And pod people.
And all of that mixed together, and it was pretty much the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Waste of time.
There were things that when they were supposed to be disturbing, they were disturbing. It was
Yeah.
good. Like
Yeah, that's
the
fair.
guy blowing himself up was actually kind of
Oh yeah, the
disturbing.
incendiary. That was
the
pretty cool.
the
yeah.
scary bear monster, even though it was a little cheesy, was still kind of creepy.
Yeah.
But,
Well, it having
um,
her throat made it creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there were too many cliches, like the jump scare of Tessa Thompson when it grabs her. Is
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, that would have been good if I didn't see it coming by the way she's standing.
Yeah.
Because
you turn
she's
your
lit-
back to the body of water.
Well,
where
not
we-
only that, she's standing like normally if she was standing, she'd probably stand straight up, but she's standing like she's literally standing like this, like that,
Yeah.
as if she's hooked up to something that's gonna.
like some
Oh
kind
hey,
of.
Tessa Thompson, arch your back so it doesn't break your back when we pull you. No, she's standing like
At least
that.
she does
and
her
then
own
it pulls
stunts.
her. Yeah, at least she does her own.
All right.
Stupid stunts.
So
let's wrap this up.
Let's re-potato this. So
All right.
This has 0 potatoes for me.
0 potatoes for
For
annihilation.
Annihilation? Yeah, 0.
Yeah.
No, I think I gave it a crisp.
Yeah, you gave it one
yeah,
crisp.
I gave it one crisp.
Yeah, you gave it a potato
because
chip.
of its Lovecraftian.
Yeah, because I like
yeah.
the Lovecraft. Yeah,
so
that was
Um,
good.
one potato chip after 3 full potatoes.
Bad Batch. I didn't give it a potato, but you guys did.
Yeah,
right?
2 potatoes.
Yeah,
2
2
potatoes.
potatoes.
and
You should
then-
at least give it a f***ing crisp, bro. Come on.
Well, now that I know that it's
At
based
least
on
do
a
a crisp,
western,
bruh.
and that makes sense, I will give it a crisp to acknowledge that, like, yeah, you know what? The story makes way more sense when you consider it a western.
okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
I don't think that that's made super clear.
I
though.
was initially
John
gonna-
Q.
That's-
movie watcher is not going to be like, obviously it's a western.
I mean, I got it when you saw the montage because that song and the montage.
But also, you
just
grew up in a
screamed-
house where
yeah,
westerns are watched all
we're
the time.
Mexican people.
Think
yeah.
of Hackerman Millennial Kid,
Hacker Man Millennial.
who's like,
Kids.
I don't know what a western
I'm gonna
is.
hack into my.
This isn't Django.
I'm gonna hack into my safe house and.
So yeah, I'll give it a crisp now that I understand some
Okay,
context.
for
But
sure.
having to have that explained to me almost makes it worse.
Okay, I understand that.
And then close, we did
No potatoes.
I gave no potatoes.
No
so-
potatoes.
So no potatoes.
very
close.
disappointing that
Yeah.
because at least Titan, you guys didn't give it one, but I gave it one because I at least
Yeah,
Well,
it was
I
at
gave
least-
it half a potato.
you did
Uh,
half.
I
I
did have
gave
a
it no
potato.
potato, but I
You
said
get-
it was at least interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this one close was just
It was
garbage.
Yeah,
so
I didn't
I was
quite
upset.
enjoy
Too
that
bad.
very much.
Well-
and it sucks because I love Numi Rapace movies. I really
well,
love her as an actress.
you know what?
and
Next
it's-
time we'll see if she's got any other ones, and hopefully she
Yeah.
won't suck.
Yeah.
But if you have any suggestions, leave it in the comments section, and we'll hopefully maybe do one sometime.
Yeah.
if we
and-
haven't seen it.
if we haven't seen it,
And
right.
yeah, if we haven't seen it.
I mean, or if it's popular enough, I'll watch something again. If
Yeah,
it's popular enough,
That's
yeah.
fair.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
some
I'd be
things
down.
you'll have a different perspective on a second view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when you're alone instead of a movie theater.
No one say Mad Max.
Oh, Mad Max.
But yeah, leave a suggestion and we'll
And
watch
then,
it and
We're also available on other platforms now. We're
yeah.
on
So now
SoundCloud.
if you don't want to watch the video version, if you're tired of looking at us in our matching denim jackets,
I'm not that cute.
you're adorable. But you can listen to us now. We upload full episodes on SoundCloud. Just look up Couch Potatoes Movie Club, and the same on the Himalaya app, which is It's a new app.
It's a new
It's a
podcast,
new app that's only for podcasts. You can look us up there, Couch Potatoes Movie Club. We're not sponsored by them.
We're not sponsored by them. We're just those are the
We're not
platforms.
hoping we
sponsored
can be.
by
Yeah, that'd be
anybody.
cool.
That would be cool.
because they're brand new.
If you
Okay.
want to give us
But-
money, give
Well,
us
SoundCloud's not
money.
brand
They
new.
can, you can donate to us on Himalaya. Which
Oh, you can.
yeah, you can.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's
Cool.
a little thing where you can donate
Go
to
on
us.
If you
Himalaya
want.
and
If you
donate.
want,
to
we're
us.
not pushing
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
have to, but
This is only episode 2. We're
if,
not
if
like,
you do, who knows what we could make? We could make some interesting things.
Very
I want to
true.
make a second show called One Potato, Two Potato, where
Yeah.
one of us watches a film the other has already seen, but he thinks is really interesting, and then they discuss it.
which I mean we could just do anything.
Yeah,
we could also
we're
just do
still
that.
gonna do
yeah.
that.
The first
And we're working on some big projects for future episodes.
But
so,
we need money.
well,
send us your
just
money.
hold on.
This is a PBS drive. We
No.
need money for smokes, kids. This is what Mr. Rogers really sounds like.
It's not.
Dang, can you
It's not.
imagine
Oh, have you
Like-
seen that Mr. Rogers movie that just?
the document, the biopic or the documentary?
He was in Nam, and he killed so many
No.
people.
Either of them. Have you seen either?
I would
of them?
believe that.
I
yeah.
haven't seen either of them.
There's the Tom Hanks biopic. And
There's one
I
on
think the Tom
HBO.
Hanks biopic is coming out. It's
Yeah,
not
that
out.
hasn't come
so
out
then,
yet.
so then
There's
the
the
one on
documentary.
HBO.
That's
is
a
out.
documentary.
I haven't seen that
All
one.
right,
yet,
let's
so-
wrap this up though. We're just getting.
Oh,
Yeah,
now
sorry.
we're talking.
I haven't picked a movie for next time, so I might consider that. I don't know if you guys
Okay.
have HBO. I don't know.
I'll see if I can find it.
If
at
you
all.
don't, then I won't pick it.
Have any of you guys seen Malevolent on Netflix?
Malevolent.
It's a Netflix original.
Malevolence?
Maybe.
Malevolent.
What is? who's
It's a
in it?
horror movie. I haven't seen it.
I
It's a-
don't think I've seen it
It
either.
sounds
'Cause
like
that's
a
my-
cheap version of Sinister, like just name-wise, Malevolent,
Yeah.
Sinister.
Oh, God,
That's my pick because I want to switch it up and do a horror movie this time.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm almost worried about.
I will
picking the same-
text you guys later because I.
Yeah, I haven't figured it out. So
Okay.
catch us next time.
Let's try to make it Netflix only or Netflix to Hulu only.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'm
For
trying to
now,
do,
at
yeah.
least, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Well,
So
see you
yeah.
guys.
Make good choices.